Nitty and Ember was really highly viewed as well. So let's see. Are we okay? Yes, we are live. Hey, everybody. Welcome to my sausage party. I am as excited as all of you. What are we going to do? All right. Sausage number one, Jeff. Let everybody know. I don't think that anybody doesn't know who everybody on the screen is right now. But if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm the number one victim and sufferer of Darth Dawkins derangement syndrome, and I have a YouTube channel dedicated to the pursuit of trashing nearly everything that he says. And occasionally I poke fun at conservative political takes from time to time. So that's pretty much me. The channel's called Jefferson Spatchcock. Go check it out if you haven't already.
Oh my God, it's Skeptics and Scoundrels. I totally it's a total Skeptics and Scoundrels sighting. He hasn't streamed in 4 months. What's that all about?
I know. I'm just a schmuck who got really lucky with one video, and I've just been riding on that momentum ever since.
Yeah, I saw that. You were like nothing.
Yeah.
4,000.
Boom, 100K video. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It really kind of is.
I am absolutely planning on making new content here really soon. My summer's been insane, but it's almost over. But yeah, I'm glad to be here. I've been watching your channel now for several weekends, and I'm very happy to be part of it now.
Wait, you really just did one video and it just kind of blew up?
I have maybe 5 or 6 actual pre-made content and a few streams. But one of my videos has over 100,000 views, and I got 3,500 to 4,000 subscribers off of it. And my channel's 5,500 subscribers right now.
Holy crap!
Yeah,
it probably doesn't hurt that one of your really good friends is Matt Dillahunty. And
I wouldn't call that. I'm getting to know them, but they're acquaintances so far. I played some video games with Jimmy, and so we're becoming friends.
I mean,
Matt and I still have very much a working relationship.
Kind of on a couple of shows of 70,000 people.
Yeah, what really helped me with that one video was it was the video's entitled could God not kill children? So it's basically just a question regarding Noah's flood, and it was a response to a video of Godless Engineer talking to a guy named Joe Wensley, a Christian pastor. Anyway, I made the video. I sent it over to John Gleason, Godless Engineer, and I said, "Hey, what do you think about this?" He says, "I like it. I'll plug it on my channel." And so he did that, and then the algorithm just went woof, and I got a ton of subscribers and a ton of views, and yeah, it was great. So I had explosive growth off of relatively little effort. So I'm fairly lucky.
Fairly lucky.
That's my strategy.
The name dropping.
Yeah.
I'm playing with you. I'm fucking with you because it's what we do here. Fuckers be fucking around. They don't like it when I call them fuckers, but
I'm fine with it.
All right. So Doc, what do we have today?
So today we have. By the way, I just switched my audio channel. Is that working? All right. Probably. Today we have, the typical thing that we normally have of an unnoticed hole.
The unnoticed.
Where'd that hole come from?
I hate those things.
It's yeah, I don't know, but so we're gonna there's pyramids, there's holes, it's gonna change everything. Okay, so this is from our wonderful friends over at the channel Riddle, very mainstream channel. We always like to highlight the number of subscribers, and this actually, you're gonna see why. Okay, this is very much mainstream content. It's absurd, stupid mainstream content, but there's a reason they have 5.4 million subscribers. And we're trying to get this sort of content out of the way before Maya becomes a super huge deal and gets monetized and everything. Because let me tell you, this, yeah.
I was thinking the other day, man, what if I get so big that I don't want to do the little shows and punching down? But there's just no way to punch down, because once you get on that crazy train, they just come flooding in by the hundreds of thousands.
Yeah.
I don't like to think of it as punching down. It's a lateral slapping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just can't, man, last week, we did Gina last week, who has 144,000 subs. and she will talk
And
about absolutely anything, and it's all amazing to her, and everything is,
mispronounced.
reptilian conspiracies, and it, it's insane. It's
She
insane.
doesn't know how to pronounce anything.
Anything.
It's a,
Yeah,
anyway.
I don't know if you saw last week's show, but we were talking about Kahulu, Kawalu,
Koalu? Catalu?
Kalalu.
Cthulhu.
No, that's not it.
No, that can't be right. That can't be right. No, no, that can't.
The
No, yeah,
Lovecraft's Eldritch God of Madness. I mean,
it,
Yeah,
absolute
the
madness.
Lovecraftian Kawalu.
And
It
her
was
argument
driving
was, I
Kat
don't think,
nuts.
and she
she
was
did
like,
say,
I don't think this is fictional. Why? Because I don't think this is fiction. Like,
Yeah, no, they want you to think it's fictional, so it
yeah,
can't be.
all
you
right.
know, I mean, if
144,000 subs.
you, I think weren't people told not to talk to Lovecraft like that in his later years because that was the kind of thing that would just get him going. Like I told you. Like
I can imagine.
All right, let's go.
Frederick Rogers, Dean of the Department of Engineering at the Lewis Institute of Technology. Back
Okay, so even in the movie, Harrison Ford wasn't a dean. Sorry, I didn't even notice
Yeah.
that the first time I looked. But
Dean of the Department of
he's not a dean. He's a fake professor that doesn't exist and goes out and commits cultural crimes.
Yeah.
You know. Sorry.
Engineering at the Lewis Institute of Technology, back in the 1930s, claimed that people had electricity long before we think it was discovered, around 3,000 years ago. Interestingly, the researcher came to this conclusion while studying biblical texts.
I gotta tell you, I did watch this earlier. I pre-gamed
Oh,
this
I'm
one.
sorry. I don't
And
know why you would do that.
I had it going in the background, and I'm watching. I'm like, this can't be serious. Then I started doing stuff. I just had it going in the back, and I can't remember what part it is. Hopefully, I'll remember. But it's like about 2/3 into it. There was a part that happened that made me stop the video and I just busted out laughing. I cannot remember what it is, but I
Oh, we will
didn't ex-
find it for you.
I didn't expect this. Like when I saw what you were covering, I was like, hole in the pyramid, okay. And then it's like, what on earth does Raiders of the Lost Ark and the Ark of the Covenant have to do? And
To be clear, yeah,
yeah,
this is as crazy as the action. What they're describing right now so far is consistent with the actual plot of Raiders of the Lost Ark. Okay? They use this image in Raiders of the Lost Ark, and they're like, that's energy being zapped out of it, and Hitler wants to use it as a weapon.
Yeah.
That is the core conflict in Raiders of the Lost Ark is Nazis want Ark of the Covenant, Ark of Covenant, Ark of the Covenant, Ark of the Covenant equals like nuclear bomb or something, which, you know.
Do you think this Frederick Rogers guy lived long enough to see Raiders of the Lost Ark in theaters? My guess is no.
I hope so. It was a good movie.
I thought it was a documentary. If you saw it.
No, it's on Netflix, not Curiosity Stream. Okay, gotta pay attention.
Although usually scientists see any religious stories as fairy tales and fantasies about something non-existent and magical, and only the most attentive readers will notice that descriptions of some ancient sacred objects, such as the Ark of the Covenant, for example, point at quite a real machine that didn't contradict the laws of physics. And
What was with that animation? It's just
I have to admit, when I was watching this, I rewound that because I was like, I looked away and then I hear this what sounds like a space shuttle taking off, and I'm like, they didn't, and I rewind it a little bit, and then I see the Ark of the Covenant lifting off and flying away, and I'm like, they did. Okay.
it's like it's a drone.
Now I do want to. Do any of you guys have any of you seen the show Raised by Wolves?
No.
Heard of it.
Okay. So it was made for HBO, and when HBO got bought by Discovery, and it's now become like Discovery Max or whatever, the guy that headed up basically cleaned out a bunch of their content, and Raised by Wolves was one of the first to go. They never finished it. It was this very ambitious, incredibly strange sci-fi thing. Ridley
Mhm.
Scott produced it. He directed a couple of the episodes. The guy that wrote it, I think, has worked with Ridley Scott on a couple of his more recent movies. It is one of the weirdest things I've ever seen. I mean, if you've ever have any of you seen Gentlemen Broncos?
No. I feel like you're exposing us to a whole underbelly that we might not be psychologically prepared for.
So you
Yeah,
got
Jeff is like the king of movies, and don't get him started. He's seen every movie there is, good, bad, and ugly, and
I only bring
he will
this up
go on about it for hours if you let him.
without going into too long a tangent. You guys have seen Napoleon Dynamite, or at least heard of it, right?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
The guy that made Napoleon Dynamite, well, the couple, he and his wife, they made another movie called Gentlemen Broncos that was not well received. It's about a kid who's a homeschooler and he's trying to get into becoming a science fiction writer. And I think it's set in like the late 80s in Utah. So the movie is interspersed with him meeting his hero, who's a sci-fi writer, and then like clips of what his story would be like, which features Sam Rockwell. And if you watch that and then see Raised by Wolves is like that. If it was actually serious, it's really weird. It's about that strange. And this whole thing in this reminds me of all of that. It just reminds me of that kind of like wild, like fever dream, goofy ass sci-fi from like the mid 80s. And I can't tell you how much I love that freeze frame of a flying Ark of the Covenant with the handles still in the loops, just shooting off across the landscape. My favorite. And is that, not without getting into spoilers, but essentially isn't this thing like what they're trying to go with? It's a battery. I mean, they had electricity, and the Ark of the Covenant
You
is
saw
some
the
kind of heat.
picture. It was zapping yellow lasers. I mean, gotta
Yeah.
have energy source.
And all my batteries do that if I don't if
Yeah.
I don't talk nice to them and pray to them every once in a while. Yeah,
If you don't refrigerate your batteries, they'll zap yellow lasers.
yeah. They shot my friend once. Smitty, I have seen season 1 of Raised by Wolves. Didn't watch the rest of it, did you, Smitty?
Okay, let's see where we're going with this.
Ark
So,
of the Covenant, for example, point at quite a real machine that didn't contradict the laws of physics.
also, the sound effects, that's all. Just
Oh,
the sound
yeah.
effects. 10 out of 10.
And could even serve as a portable power station. So, could unique biblical artifacts really be lost super technologies?
Probably not.
This
Of
all
all
seems like
biblical artifacts, the Ark of the Covenant is one of the most intriguing archaeological mysteries. Nuggets of information about this thing may mean that ancient humans developed technologies that were far ahead of even modern designs, but mistaken for something supernatural. According to a legend, it all started with God, who ordered Moses to make the Ark of the Covenant. Moreover, the prophet received clear instructions on what exactly the device was supposed to be, including
Clear instructions were received. Clear instructions.
build me a DC motor. This thing is so bonkers. Doesn't this seem like one guy is sort of like presenting the notes for like a group of people at Ubisoft trying to come up with the next 10
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed games? Like, okay, what if it's Moses' staff? Like, I feel like some of this stuff was actually used in some of the Assassin's Creed games.
Yeah. Or there's like the editing room floor clippings of like the next who directed the Noah movie with Russell Crowe. Like it was like their part 2 talking about Moses and the whole
Documentary.
covenant.
No, a documentary, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, the Exodus one? Is that the
Yeah.
one? Yeah, that
There's like a rejected script that they're reading here for this video.
yeah, that was Ridley Scott of all people, and I think the guy that did Raised by Wolves worked on that movie.
oh God.
It's all coming
It's all
full
connected.
circle.
It's all connected. I just want to mention too, I'm getting very mixed emotions here because I know we're walking into probably a dog shit video here, but they keep on showing us Raiders of the Lost Ark clips, which is an amazing movie.
Right?
So I fear I'm going to come out of this with a much lower opinion. Not even that. Not a lower opinion of Raiders of the Lost Ark. I'm gonna be conditioned to recoil in horror now when I see Raiders of the Lost Ark because I'm going to watch this video.
Hold on, Eric.
Yes.
If that's the case, then that means our entire audience becomes nauseated every time they see Maya or I on any stream.
Oh,
And
that's true.
I don't. It's not that bad. So, I think you'll be okay.
That might be. I don't know. Like, do you notice like kind of like your audience kind of cycles through? Like, there's like kind of new faces every once in a while, and the old faces kind of disappear. And it's like maybe that is happy. You just don't realize it. You're
But it's-
maintaining.
Yeah, that's what
maybe.
long term chronic brain damage looks like, isn't it?
Yeah.
But this
Hey,
is clearly like it's aimed at a couple of audiences because like this is to break down the defenses and the automatic rejection of boomers and too cool for school Gen Xers
Yeah.
who are going to be like, oh, there's indie, but like there's Zoomers out there that are like, who dat? You know, they
Yeah. This is the attempt to make this look palatable or be palatable. This is kind of like playing classic rock music at like an RNC convention or something.
It's like when they play Born in the USA without having any idea what the lyrics to that song are.
It's like, hey, you've been watching you Boomer, Gen Xer, you've seen Raiders of the Lost Ark 45 times. Did you know that qualifies you for an honorary degree in ancient Near Eastern electromagnetism? Like, what?
It's true. It's so true.
So I just put out in the chat who here in the live chat has watched Maya and Tap on Bad Science Sundays the longest, and please, I encourage you to fight about it.
Oh, that's a hard one.
That is a
here
hard one.
tonight. He's like an OG, and he hasn't been
Yeah.
here in a couple of weeks, but I'm glad he's back. Stephanie, Titan, Pragmatic Crystal.
Yeah, pragmatic.
Really, all my mods definitely.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody with a wrench for sure. Yeah. Spooky is new. Never heard of him. Them.
Yeah, no.
I've seen Spooky Bed hair
Spooky.
around.
Yeah,
No,
new
I-
hair,
First time
but,
here. First time here.
I'm pretty sure that's a fake alt account that somebody just invented. They keep on talking about this guy Titan. Never heard of them. No idea.
No.
So
Yeah.
Why isn't it? Oh, sorry, wrong video. There we go.
Fine details. Moses was told to use the acacia tree as the main material and construct something like a box that was 2.5 cubits long, 1.5 cubits wide, and 1.5 cubits high. If we convert this to the modern metric system, we get approximately 1.5 meters by 1 meter by 1 meter. It looked like a chest, but had the size of a large refrigerator.
It just reminds me of the Zach Brannigan quote. This ship it accelerates like a steakhouse, but it handles like a bistro. Just like it was like a chest, but it looked like a refrigerator. Like, isn't a refrigerator basically just a tall chest? I mean, tip it over and put some handles on it. Yeah, there you go.
So is that the extent at which the Bible, the Old Testament, describes the Ark? Like, where's all the bits about it being a power source and all the descriptions on how to build that part?
That's what we're supposed to read into it because it was made out of acacia wood, and then they get into like it's coated in gold. I bet there's something scratching around there that generates a spark, and that's what provides the yellow wrathy light somehow.
So I just wanted to share this. What it reminded me was of this tweet. Large boulder the size of a small boulder is completely blocking eastbound Highway 145. And
Boulder's boulder.
This here is the mythical large boulder the size of a small boulder.
It was the largest boulder we'd ever seen. It was technically a small boulder, but it was a small boulder that was able to do the damage of a large boulder. You know how boulders are. They're insolent and ill-tempered.
My question is, which is larger, a large boulder the size of a small boulder, or a small boulder the size of a large boulder?
It's anyone's guess.
Scientists determined that the weight of the Ark was also closer to that of a fridge, around 300 kilograms. Even though God wanted the Ark to be made of wood, which was widespread in the desert near the Red Sea coast, he wanted it inside and outside to be plated with pretty rare material. Moses had to cover the entire Ark with gold and put some gold molding around it. Some experts believe this precious metal was necessary not because God wished the chest to be eye-catching. According to Christian texts, God condemned people's desire for wealth, so it's unlikely that Moses was told to get such valuable material with no purpose, especially given how much gold was used. Besides, the text mentions that Moses had...
Okay, hold on. I'm sorry. I just noticed this sentence started and it had the clause, some experts don't believe it's for this, with the implication that he was going to explain what the experts believe it's for. And then the sentence just evolved into a whole, like, tree of confusion and pain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So... just everything, you know.
He's trying to make it real. He's trying to make it more plausible. Going, well, they shouldn't have had riches. That was against the religion back then. So there must have been some other reason why gold was plated all over this thing. And it's like, no. Religions tend to be greedy and tend to want that type of wealth and flaunt it. Like we see that today with the Catholic Church. We see it with many other religions. The Mormon Church, like. Stands to reason that the guys in charge wanted to flaunt the wealth they were siphoning off their believers. I mean, there's nothing implausible about that. It's quite likely.
For sure. 100%.
The ark's lid with two cherubs, winged angelic beings. It was crucial to ensure their faces were turned to one another and their wings touched each other. Studying this device, physicist Frederick Rogers decided it was nothing less than a capacitor. In fact,
it was a lightning rod.
In a trash.
I hate this so much.
No explanation, no references, just physicists think that this was a capacitor.
That's
Moving
not
on.
a capacitor. You don't make a capacitor with a piece of metal that's like that and another piece of metal that's like that. That's not how capacitors work. Capacitors are made with parallel plates. That's why the symbol of a capacitor is that. It's that, not pointy point thingy. Okay, there's a type of transistor you could make that sort of looks like that.
But the top diagram could be like...
Titan has a message for you.
No, hold on. Let me just... Okay, what's Titan's message? Do I have to read it? Oh, God. I'm done with this guy. Gonna give me a stroke up in here.
acacia wood could...
You keep testing me, Titan. I'll show you what a real felony ferret looks like, okay? You have no idea.
act as an insulator, separating the outer layer of gold with a positive charge from the inner layer with a negative one. The cherubs could also be positive and negative terminals. If the gold layer under one of them covered another wood layer, they could
You need to
act
jump
as...
your car, just hook up one red to one cherub, black to the other cherub, and just turn the key. You're done.
Why haven't these guys tried to market a jumper cable system that looks like this so you can be that ostentatious weirdo like, oh yeah, let me get my jumper cables,
gosh.
and it's just two fistfuls of cherubs. They're like, what the hell is that?
Guys,
Like,
we could make money. We could make money off this. We could build car jumping battery kits in the form of the Ark of the Covenant.
You know what's going to tick me off is that Skeptics and Scoundrels is going to do that, and then his business is going to take off as fast as his YouTube channel, and the rest of us are going to be begging him for low-interest loans.
What you just described is a way to a profitable business, and it's so depressing.
You even got the tagline right there: "Have faith in our jumper cables."
Yes, exactly. There's a whole like odd, strange industry around contraptions and devices and ways to work around the no work on the Sabbath rule for like a lot of the Orthodox Jews.
Yeah.
But there's a whole industry around that. Create a car jumping kit in the shape of the Ark of the Covenant that somehow does skirt those rules. It's multi-million-dollar idea.
Yeah, I mean, the Filet-O-Fish was a multi-million-dollar idea for similar reasons. So,
I think wasn't the Filet-O-Fish for Catholics during Lent, right? It was to make sure they're still coming in to spend money, even though they're not
Lent, I guess. There are also I think I could be totally wrong. I'm not educated on the matter, but I think there might be some kosher rules that also are helped.
Yeah,
Or
they might
satisfied
have saw
benefit.
two opportunities in one there.
Yeah, and even
safety problem.
halal. It might also be halal, for
Yeah.
example. That would make sense.
Yeah, I know one of the a fast food restaurant that I really love, and they're finally building two up here in Seattle. Finally, it's called Raising Cane's, and they serve chicken fingers or chicken tenders. They actually expanded to the UE before they came up here to the Northwest in Seattle, because it was just over there, just chickens in much higher demand because of the religious beliefs around eating beef and pork and such. So yeah,
we actually in my area there's one because I'm near a college town.
Yeah,
we got one. I think they opened shortly after kind of the pandemic limitations started to lift.
Yep.
I've never been there. I'm kind of curious about it.
I like it quite a lot. I tend to oversell it to people. I think it's my favorite fast food restaurant out there, with like In-N-Out Burger or Five Guys being like close second and third. Yeah, if you ever go to Raising Cane's, eat the food right there, right when it's served to you. Don't take it home. Don't let it age. Eat it immediately, and it is delish. Yeah.
Good to know. Okay.
Yeah.
Later, all it took was a rod connecting the negative charged cherub with the inner coating. However, we don't know what other materials or mechanisms could have been hidden inside. It's pretty likely that when interacting...
Doesn't sound like it was perfectly described in the Bible then, does it? Which, for the record, what was one of the previous things. So. It's fine.
With golden wood,
I'm making a prediction here.
Okay.
I'm making a prediction here.
Prediction. Yeah.
They're talking about the Ark of the Covenant being a power source. They're making references to Indiana Jones and how the Ark like literally melted Nazi faces. I'm going to say they're going to make a connection with this idea that the Ark has these capabilities with the scripture in the second book of Samuel, which describes a Levite Uzzah touching the Ark with his bare hands and God smiting him immediately. I'm going to bet they're going to draw that connection that the Ark was a power source, and when Uzzah touched it, that's what killed him.
Okay, I want to say, because I've seen this, you will not be disappointed. In fact, I think you might actually be, I don't want to go into detail, I don't want to spoil it, you might be surprised at the way they display it. That's all I'll say. Yeah.
Awesome.
Do we have chapter and verse, by the way? Oh, would you look at this? It opened, was it Samuel? Did you say Samuel? Because it opened as Samuel.
I'm looking for it. Second book of Samuel.
Yeah, Second Samuel. That's what it opened to. God is real, you guys.
Wow.
And he wants us to stop believing in him.
Wow. Okay, just pick a random scripture and read it to us, and that's God's message to us.
Okay, random scripture. Okay, the messenger set out, and when he arrived, he told David everything Joab had said to him to say. The men overpowered us and came out against us in the open, but we drove them back to the entrance of the city gate, and the archers shot arrows, and some of the king's men died. Moreover, your servant Uriah the Hittite is dead. Man, God sucks, damn.
Okay. Wow. I'm going to interpret that as an Amazon driver is going to be attacked by a homeowner sometime soon. I don't know. I don't know. That's how I interpreted that. Yeah, that's the first thing that went to my head.
Yeah.
I really hope it doesn't happen, by the way. Please, nobody attack your Amazon delivery men or women.
Don't do that.
Yeah, that is not a call to violence. That was a joke.
Also, the delivery people are awesome. It's the upper people
it's
are,
the company that sucks, yeah.
Edible, let's say. The rich are edible, let's say, yeah.
Would indeed generate electricity. If so, this explains why the Bible has so many stories about people dying after they touched the Ark.
I didn't watch it ahead of time, I promise.
No, please play it. Rewind it a couple seconds. Play it through.
Yep.
People dying. If so, this explains why the Bible has so many stories about people dying after they touched the Ark. For example, this is how Moses' nephews died, who were sons of the prophet's brother named Aaron. The Bible says that...
The best part, none of the other four guys react at all. Like, stupid, don't, nope, there he goes.
Oh, God.
So I've seen, like, chunks of this. Obviously, like, it'd be pretty poor form to not check it out at all. But I do always like to let some of it be a surprise as well. I did not remember that bit.
Touched the Ark. For example, this is how Moses' nephews died.
He didn't even
who
touch
were
the Ark.
sons
He
of the
touched the
prophet.
shroud on the Ark.
Right? They're touching something which is closer to the Ark than Dead Dude over here is.
I mean, okay. Do you mean to tell me that they knew how to build a refrigerator-sized capacitor out of just wood and gold and some crazy-looking cherubs, and they didn't know to wear rubber gloves and rubber boots? Like, are you telling me that they were that smart and that stupid at the same time?
They just didn't. Yeah, I mean,
Color me doubtful.
they got some of it right, but a lot of it wrong. Yeah.
But yeah, I like the other guys don't even react. It's just a Wednesday for them. Like, oh, gotta get another trainee.
Jeff's down.
Moses' third nephew. Hey, guess what? You're in luck. You won't believe what just happened today.
Also, I want to point out, like, isn't this thing supposed to weigh like 600 and some pounds?
Yeah, imagine something that big.
So aren't these guys like in one hand, like they're sharing on 150 pounds that they're lugging around in one hand?
Yeah, that's actually rough. Yeah.
That's not easy. And maybe that's why they don't care that this guy's dead. Like, he's holding us up so he can pet the carpet and die.
Maybe.
Titan is right, by the way. Titan's comment there. We are thinking about writing a book. There are some naysayers in my life, Maya, who don't think that I should write a parody pseudoscience book, but those people are jealous. They're jealous.
I'm just saying, like, you know, sometimes when parody pseudoscience books are written, people worship it. And maybe we just need fewer of those in our lives.
I would be okay with people worshiping me. Yeah, that'd be. I could deal with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let's go into business together. You receive the worship, and I'll receive the donations.
I mean, this is people. So people were saying, like, they don't think that Moses existed. When I read Moses and Aaron together as like a weird, like, mutually dependent and super toxic cult leader duo, it makes total sense to me. It genuinely does. Moses and Aaron totally make sense as a super weird, like, cult oligarch. They're like
Like
T
Joseph Smith and Brigham Young.
Joseph Smith and Brigham Young, or I'm thinking of Heaven's Gate. There was the lady who died.
Yeah, I remember him.
Doe and T. That's who they were. Yeah.
Oh, Heaven's Gate.
Brother,
The simpler
named
time.
Aaron. The Bible says they were
Simpler website. It's all in the
And it's still there. The
It is
website's
still there.
They paid ahead of time to have that website stay up and running.
Well, also one of the cult members stayed behind and is still around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was tasked with keeping that message up and live. And yep, their website's still there, and it is still 1990 something over there on that website.
It's almost as much of a relic as the Space Jam website.
Yeah.
Wow.
consumed with fire when the lightning peered out of the ark and struck
That's
them.
not lightning.
Moreover,
Thanks for
Frederick
pointing
learned from
at
the
it for me. I would
text
never
that the
notice it
approaching
otherwise.
enemies of Israel were exposed to bunches of sparks. And sometimes sparks rained down on random people who just happened to be moving the chest. There even was something like a set of safety rules to be followed when in contact with the ark. One of them instructed you to cover your head, lungs, and genitals in case you needed to come close to the device, which is reminiscent of modern protective clothing. In 1961,
Too bad they didn't tell that poor chump that went up there and had to pet it.
Yeah.
Right? But yeah, I mean, I have to wonder, so again, this is a huge channel. Over 5 million subs. Over 5 million subs. Given the amount of footage that they're using from a Lucasfilm production, did they just eat the copyright strike on this one, or did they license this?
Is there somebody? I know where you're going. Is there somebody at Disney we can tattle on to get them
Oh,
maybe in trouble. Like,
Or
hey,
if they're gullible enough to allow this to happen, what can we just like have a showing of Raiders of the Lost Ark as a Bad Science Sunday episode? It's less than 2 hours long.
yeah. I think they removed all the audio so far. I don't think there's been any.
That is true.
Audio.
That
So
is
probably
true.
That is true.
That is
That's the key
true,
to it.
and that's a huge thing. But still, the amount of visual, like they've had a lot, like a lot of footage.
you know damn well
Well,
if
like,
this
how
video.
else? I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead, Matt.
No, it's just like, how else do you like convey to your audience that the Ark of the Covenant was a documentary without saying the Ark of the Covenant was a documentary?
Yeah. But it was good that they didn't include the sound, because you know damn well that if they even 3 notes of the theme song played, somewhere a Disney lawyer's eyes would snap open,
Yeah.
while hanging upside down like a vampire bat in his belfry, and he would fly out into the night sky
4
to
a.m.
find this YouTuber and end their career. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
Seriously, the channel would be struck.
4 a.m. That lawyer's eyes just snap open like Squidward in that meme.
Right.
He's off to destroy YouTuber.
Someone has disturbed. Yeah.
Ember raises a valid point.
Which one? Are they going to get a hole in the pyramid here somewhere? Amber, you know better than to expect them to, like,
That's what I kept asking. I'm like, what are they doing? And it's that title is kind of implicit. They just kind of bury the lead of like, no, we're just going to really speculate hard about how kick-ass a crazy high-tech weapon the Ark of the Covenant might have been.
no, like, I remember we did a video where it's just like, we have proof of dumbass claims. And, like, we kept looking.
Maya,
looking
sometimes
so
it is
hard.
there. Sometimes it is. We have proof of, and then it's not even clear what they're saying they have proof of.
Right? Yeah. No, this shows the thing that we've been and I'm like, where? What are you talking? Where did I miss it? Like they don't. They just don't.
They don't. They
Yeah.
can't even. They won't even. Oh God! My Bible fell.
Oh no.
God.
Oh no! What page did it open to? This is important. God's trying to talk to us again.
It stayed on the same page.
Oh,
Oh, damn it.
well, that's a shame.
It's a sign
It's doubling
of the
down.
truth.
Try harder next time, God.
Yeah.
And maybe throw the Bible against the wall. It'll put to a different page.
Oh well.
Get out of here.
This page is chastising people who do intermarriage. Wait, no, that just seems racist. Hold on. Yeah, never mind. Let's move on.
You have a
I thought you were
racist
about to say
Bible.
people who
I'm
chastise people
shocked.
who do YouTube videos.
Well, I mean, Maya,
Okay.
do I seem like somebody who would in any way be connected at any level, particularly, say, in my ancestry, with racist people? No, that doesn't
Oh
sound like me,
yeah,
does
Dr.
it?
Tapioca Weasel's great great grandfather owned my great great grandfather.
Tap.
Whoa.
Yeah.
How can you live with yourself?
I
Yeah.
know. He's a bad
well-
person who owes me money in reparations because that's how that works.
That's how
Oh, what time is it? Oh, God. Wow, it's really late. I'm going to have to get going. I'll see you guys later, okay? You're breaking. You're breaking up. I can't hear you. It's everything.
Yeah, Tapioca Weasel's thinking like, I got to get that Disney vampire lawyer on the phone to protect me now.
Hey, Maya,
Abraham Lincoln?
Maya, I'm an evil landlord, so I know a really good collection agency you can use to stick them on tap there.
Now I'm scared.
Be afraid. Be very afraid. Fear me.
Sparks. And sometimes sparks rained down on random people who just happened to be moving the chest. There even was something like a set of safety rules to be followed when in contact with the Ark. One of them instructed you to cover your head, lungs, and genitals in case you needed to come close.
Wait, hold on. Did he say cover your head, lungs, and genitals?
Yep.
Yeah.
How do you cover your lungs?
If you've been lugging this thing around too often, you're probably wearing your lungs outside your chest, like because of the space radiation you're getting from it.
What insulator did they wear Like, what insulating materials could they put into their clothing to protect themselves? Like, we saw how it just killed a person through the shroud that it was, it was under in that animation.
Yeah, they're wandering around in an arid area
Yeah.
with what they think is some kind of like, electricity generating thing. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, static is a real concern at this point. Yeah, I don't think that there's much they
Yeah.
can use that's going to negate that. If
Yeah.
that's
Imagine being a trainee on the job first day. It's like, okay, all right, new guy. Listen, when you touch this thing, be sure to cover your head, your lungs, and your junk.
Your genitals. Whatever you do, don't scratch your head and do not sneeze. We'll all die.
To the device, which is reminiscent of modern protective clothing. In 1961, a group of students from the University of Minnesota announced they tried to test Frederick Rogers' hypothesis. According to them, they recreated the Ark following all the directions, but had to freeze the project and destroy the model because of the dangerously high electrical charge it developed. Truth.
Bullshit.
I when I got to this point, I was like, citation, please. Like, when did this happen? Like, come on.
Do they give any details? No, any
that
names?
is that's I don't believe a word of any of that. Like, that's total nonsense.
You know what happens when these cherubs gently touch their tips together, don't you? Like, not what you think.
Yeah, I mean, these people have never been to the University of Minnesota. There's no acacia wood around there. That's my issue. That's all it is. What were you was that your issue? Because that's my issue.
The acacia wood. My thing is, like, where did they get all this gold? Did they get academic dispensation to have all this gold melted down onto an acacia wood box? Like, I don't think so.
I mean, I don't know. You'd be surprised what academics can get away with. It's a lot.
That's true.
He told these students never proved that their experiment actually took place. The most prominent supporter of the ancient capacitor idea was the most renowned physicist of all times, Nikola Tesla.
Oh, fucking goddamn it.
Who fell in love? He fell in love with a pigeon. He fell in love with a pigeon. I mean, yes, he was brilliant, but come on.
It was an attractive pigeon, I will give him that, but Nikola Tesla was not a physicist.
No.
No, you can't have a successful documentary without showing the Nikola Tesla. We've been over this.
Well, you know what? I have a professional jealousy for Nikola Tesla, okay? People don't respect my grandfather because of this man. Just saying.
Well, look, your grandfather shouldn't have built a time machine and, like, zapped Donald Trump back to the 1800s and for reasons.
Doesn't this all seem like, I mean, we've ticked off 2 boxes on the conspiracy theory, like, hit list, right? Like, this involves the Jews and now Nikola Tesla.
Hmm.
Ancient technology hidden from society by the Jews, and Nikola Tesla's, unsurpassed genius.
Checking all the boxes here.
I have a lot of respect for Tesla, but not as a physicist, as like a weird tortured genius who later fell in love with a pigeon.
And car designer.
Like,
I mean, the car is pretty cool, right? I mean, he did design that,
right? He got a lot of stuff right, but he was not a physicist. His physics was not good.
Yeah.
He dubbed Moses a practical and skillful electrician far in advance of his time.
He did? I highly doubt that.
Perhaps he saw a kindred spirit in the historical figure as the
I can imagine that.
What?
I can imagine it because they both seem like crazy, like narcissist people. I don't know.
He just said that Tesla said that Moses was an electrician ahead of his time.
Yeah.
I can imagine Nikola Tesla saying that. I can't imagine him being right, but I can imagine him saying that. He said a lot of weird stuff.
Yeah.
I would want to see where Nikola Tesla said that and why Nikola Tesla thought that if he did say it. Because where does it say that he was that at all?
I don't know. The why Nikola Tesla thought this, that way can lie madness. So you got to be careful with that.
But this is just a way for this video to build credibility. Well, Nikola Tesla said this other insane thing. So we're saying an insane thing about Nikola Tesla. who supposedly said another insane thing. Like
Yeah.
it's a way of artificially building cred.
Yeah. I mean, but that all tracks, right?
Yeah.
Oh my goddamn Smitty.
Scientists dreamed of creating a network of wireless power and believed Moses could have achieved this goal much earlier than him. Tesla assumed that, apart from the tablets with the Ten Commandments and other artifacts, the Ark could also have contained something like silk curtains. The physicists thought that in this case, static electricity could be produced by the friction of silk fabrics against each other and build up right.
Like, to pick up the Ark, you got to shake it, get that static electricity going.
Why does that look like Fanta or Sprite spurting out of
It's
that?
like whipped cream. Whipped cream is coming out. Oh wait, no! Oh god, no! My brain went somewhere else. The trainee's like, "What's the Ark doing?" Oh, that's just the jizz coming out.
When you have 4 guys handling it in the hot sun all day, it builds up. Needs a release.
Oh
Yeah.
my god! Don't check the Ark
Silent
too hard
chat.
because this will happen.
Skeptics. Eric would be great in a Mud Fossil video.
Oh my god!
Oh, yeah. Oh man, just all of this. Hold on. Why is this not playing? There we go.
Historian Mike Blackburn and researcher Mark Bennett developed a similar hypothesis, although, in their opinion, a true secret lies within the tabernacle. This additional wooden construction around the Ark is supposedly made from ram skins and draped with goat hair curtains. They think those curtains also rubbed against each other, creating an initial static.
There's a lot of rubbing going on.
Yeah.
Oh, now goat hair is being invoked as another
This
source
is,
of power.
I mean, this is at least slightly more plausible. If you have,
Yes,
I mean,
it
the
is.
tabernacle have curtains, it's out in the open, wind can move the curtains and cause static build. Yeah, I mean, this is perfectly. Yeah.
The biggest issue with it is that to get static buildup, you generally want to rub different materials against each other. So silk against glass, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Silk against glass actually may have been like the example that Benjamin Franklin used in his study of it.
And you could see how this would feed into the superstitious nature and the reverence of this building, because like, oh wow, look at these little like sparky spark things, like this is God's power, like you can see how it would feed back into the whole belief system and stuff like that. Yeah, and if it's out there in the wind just blowing, and there's probably multiple materials it's made out of, you'll probably have something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it doesn't actually even need to rub. You can just have it go in contact and separate. And if you do that...
Has anybody actually ever read up on what the tabernacle and its construction, how it was like laid out? It was kind of a bizarre
I mean,
building.
I've read Exodus.
Yeah.
It's
a
a
bizarre building.
I always thought, like, I remember
tent.
going through that section of the Old Testament, like just reading it, front to back.
Yeah.
And when I got to the point where it's talking about how they build that and the sacrifices and the pillar of fire and everything, that whole thing, the whole scene of the Israelites wandering around in the desert initially, after they get away from the Egyptians, just sort of plays out like a really creepy, like David Lynch movie. Like it's like a horror movie. It's so weird that they're preoccupied with building. I mean, the dimensions of the Ark, like if you have a study Bible and they kind of lay out like the renditions of what scholars think that it was trying to describe, it's creepy. It's this tent that they have to like erect every time they stop, and then they have to perform these constant sacrifices, and then
smoke and burning animal fat.
It's just wild. The whole thing.
You got the holy and the most holy sections of it, and if you have blemishes or crushed testicles, you can't enter certain parts of the structure. It's just really, really, odd, bizarre, like beliefs built up around this.
Yeah,
and
Jeff, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, because I was going to ask Jeff about that. I know, God, I think I can't remember if it had to be you on your brother's show, and you were talking about the one part where with the abortion, and you were like, well, it was more to like, it wasn't necessarily like a magic potion. It was like kind of to make the woman come clean.
Yeah, I can't remember who I read because if you read the way they describe like the tabernacle and stuff, by the time you get to that part where the woman's test for unfaithfulness in Numbers pops up, the soil that if you don't know the context of it, it's just like, oh, we take the soil from the ground and then we throw it into this stuff and they make a quote unquote bitter potion out of it. That soil was constantly inundated with fat, blood, sometimes from days of just constant sacrifices and burning and all this kind of stuff. So anybody that was like kind of evoking that like kind of stuff, actually, I think I was reading it from it was an Orthodox rabbi's take on a commentary for the Hebrew Bible, and he's like, if you imagine all the detritus that's laying in that dirt at the time, the idea was, and this was passed around after a while, like if you had anyone drink that, the chances of them developing listeria were really high. And so if a woman got to a point where she was forced to consume that, it would be kind of a miracle if she didn't get sick. And so, hey, you know what? She's great. She's healthy enough to bear sons. Anybody else is probably going to get sick and die. And if they were pregnant, they're definitely going to lose the child. So yeah, I wish I could remember the source that was cited from, but I had seen comparative things in a couple other study sections that were saying, yeah, when Numbers they're citing that junk on the ground, it's not just like random sand, it's the dirt around the altar.
Yeah, it's right here. It's Numbers 5:17 or 5:16 and 17. The priest shall bring her and have her stand before the Lord. Then he shall take some holy water in a clay jar and put some dust from the tabernacle floor into the water.
Yeah, you don't want to
hygienic.
You would not want to even touch that shit, let alone ingest it. So yeah. I remember explaining to a couple of Christians about this concept, and they were like, no, because I'm like, there is a naturalistic explanation for this, at least according to some, because they think like, hey, because there are a lot of like Jewish scholars that don't think, they don't know how to square that. They read Mishnah and stuff like that on it, and they're like, this tale is in there. It's really difficult even for a lot of Orthodox Jews to square. They don't know how old it is. It's like some kind of folk tale. But a lot of them are like, well, if this did happen and they were performing these kinds of like meat burnings in the ground, and they were just taking that and forcing a woman or anyone to drink it, you're probably going to get listeria and get very sick and die. And when I explained this to a couple of Christians, they were like, that's insane. That's not what the tabernacle floor means. And then I was pretty sure they were getting confused, not with the tabernacle of the tent, but the actual built tabernacle later. So, yeah.
No, and I was wondering, like, have you read anything from anybody that kind of explains like what this was actually supposed to be? Because it just seems like it was, I don't know.
I've heard different, like the tent and the ark and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I've heard different things where they've talked about like different cultures also had kind of similar things where you'd have like a holy place dedicated to your god. And the fact that the story is talking about a displaced tribe, this chosen people that are wandering, if they're wandering and they're not chosen by this like all-powerful God, they needed something to set them apart. The idea that they would literally like set up the bestest specialist tent for Yahweh was sort of a way of kind of squaring that. And whether or not that was actually part of the priestly tradition or like a later invention that they used to like kind of show, hey, to tell themselves this is how devout our forefathers were back in the day when they wandered, because even the wandering part is really historically questionable. That I think is anybody's guess.
Right. All right. Thanks, Jeff. Jeff is a wealth of knowledge. I love him.
As that charge built up,
there he
the
goes again.
entire structure, along with the
Twice
ark,
in one day.
became highly electrified. The researchers even estimated the maximum charge the ark could carry. It presumed.
Which researchers did what, where, and when? Give me a DOI number.
It doesn't matter. It's them.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
It's them. They did it. They did it, and they did it, and we know it, and we should be grateful for them.
I'm scared.
Dr. Taft's asking, which men? And then this channel leans in and goes, top men.
Top,
Top men.
top men.
Presumably was in the range of
But for the record, I didn't ask which men. Okay, that would have been really sexist to me. I asked which researchers,
No.
but I just wanted to like
Top men.
Top men. What are the bottoms doing then?
Exactly what they want to be doing. Just taking it.
50,000 volts. And yet, Tesla claimed that the arc
50,000
didn't
volts.
only create monstrous charges, but supplied an entire power plant
How do they
with
calculate that?
electricity.
With new math. I don't know. Mrs. P-Town is listening.
Well, hello, P-Town and Mrs. P-Town.
Hello, Mrs. P-Town.
This video is going to make you want to watch Stargate or something
Ark?
like it.
The Ark of the Covenant was a car battery. We're learning here today.
It was
That
a
could fly.
documentary, damn it.
Uh-oh, what happened?
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Wait, did we lose? Oh.
That's kind of a representation of what the Ark of the Covenant does if you shake it too hard.
I know, right? Oh my god. I think we lost Doc.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Or he lost his
Maybe God smote him.
Doc Smoot.
My internment cut out. Yeah.
I guess we'll see what happened.
Oh dear.
Dear.
So, not those Raising Cane's chicken fingers. Now I'm hungry.
They're pretty darn
I know,
good.
right? I'm trying to see if I can get the video back up.
Ember says he lost his will to live. Oh, he's back.
Woohoo.
Sorry about that. I don't know what happened. My internet seemed to die for a second there. Let me.
Yeah, it was God. Clearly.
Maybe.
I mean,
You shouldn't have dropped that Bible.
You can't rule that out. God temporarily disturbed your internet access just because.
yeah. I mean, you can never falsify the unfalsifiable. That's true.
All right, so let's go back here. All right. Which is better because I had no idea where we left off.
Yeah.
It's either the clouds or a plume of jizz.
something. Yeah,
It's right
something.
here.
50,000 volts.
Yeah.
This power plant was the Great Pyramid of Giza. The physicists found it suspicious.
You can just plug the Ark of the Covenant in to some Egyptian pyramids and blammo. Tron in the desert.
I wonder if they're gonna start playing clips from Transformers 2.
Yeah.
Right?
They were using the top of the pyramid as like a gun that was gonna like snuff out the sun.
Yeah. He's probably gonna pull out his glasses and be like, "Look at these little alien like characters written on it."
Yeah.
Is that nobody had found mummies or any other objects usually stored inside tombs throughout Egypt. Tesla thought the pyramid was cased with white tufa limestone for a good reason, since the insulation properties of this material are second to none. Besides, tunnels running on
That's not true. That's not true.
I think it's fair to say that
the
none of
pyramid are
them.
made of
I think it's true that the pyramid is made out of rocks.
Yeah.
That they get right.
Well, and that's not an accident that it was made out of limestone. They had a lot of limestone available. That's the explanation. We're done.
Well, no, I thought no. Isn't it an insulator? Or was it a conductor? What were they using it for?
It's an insulator, and sometimes, and
Excellent insulator.
I don't know if they're gonna bring it up, but sometimes they talk about piezoelectricity. So if they do that, I might just like have an aneurysm burst. Like that's possible. So,
I don't think they do, so I think you're safe.
Okay, good.
granite, a known conductor of
Also-
electricity.
This is like a Minecraft Let's Play right now.
It is, yeah.
This fact is especially strange because 8,000 tons of heavy granite blocks needed for construction had to be transported to Giza from more than 800 kilometers away. It obviously wasn't done out of boredom. There had to be some specific purpose. It looks like
I'm not going to disagree. They didn't build the pyramids out of boredom.
Yeah.
That is the most absurd idea I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
The building materials and the structure of the Great Pyramid of Giza were carefully thought out so that the pyramid could conduct electricity. It's assumed that the charge traveled from the chambers upward to the golden capstone at the very top.
It is
assumed there.
It's assumed by who? For
Screenwriters.
Oh, God.
Hacky screenwriters. Yes, it's assumed by them for the next Transformers.
Stop saying the quiet part out loud, Riddle.
But where did the charge come from anyway? In the King's Chamber, final resting place for the pharaoh, archaeologists found only one simple thing: a big stone coffer that was absolutely empty. Oddly enough, the volume of space inside this so-called sarcophagus is exactly the size of the Ark of the Covenant.
Plug and play, baby. Plug and play.
Yep.
So when were those built relative to when they think the Ark of the Covenant was built?
Well,
it seems like they're trying to make this connection. Like, did they build the temples with like a socket, and then we just got to go get the Israelites back with their magic floating box?
So, and I'm probably, I would bet money that I am not the person on the panel who should be answering this question, but, you know, my ego is huge, so I'm fine. I think that the Ark of the Covenant was, if it was built, like, probably around, like, I don't know, like, 1000 BC or something, and the pyramids are from, like, 1 trillion years ago, so they were around way before the Ark of the Covenant.
Yeah.
The pyramids are crazy, like, stupid crazy old.
Yeah. According to archaeologists, the first pyramids were built before the time of Noah's flood, and the last pyramids were built after Noah's flood. So somehow the Egyptian civilization survived the flood and just kept building pyramids.
And yet for some reason here, during this construction of the Giza Pyramid Complex, they've got this thing there that appears to be just like the socket that you could stick a Covenant Ark into.
Plug and play.
And then kablamo, you can turn the sun into a bomb or summon the Transformers.
That's where there's a hole, there's a goal, right?
Wait, I thought the Earth was flat and only 6,000 years old.
Oh. I can talk about that at length, Maya.
No, Maya raises an excellent point. We're not factoring in their crazy math. Now this makes sense.
New math. It's new math. Fantastic.
Quite possibly, the Egyptians were planning to run that pyramid as a power plant 4,000 years ago and got stuck because they were still looking for
what?
For their vibrant software industry.
But like a power plant for what? What'd they plug into it to power?
Well, they saw what the Ark of the Covenant could launch out the top, and they were like, "That's pretty good." But I bet we
want that.
We can go bigger, and then they did, and then they were like, "Hey, Israelites, ours is bigger and jets farther." So, bam.
Does anybody want to tackle this question?
How do Yek explain the pyramids?
They discredit archaeologists.
Yeah, I don't know. I could try. I should ask Peter about that.
Don't they just basically like attack like radiocarbon dating and say like, no, all this stuff happened like in a much shorter span of time?
It's one of the things they do. Yeah.
Yeah.
I brought this same exact point up with Jehovah's Witnesses when they come to my door, and I was like, yeah, I had to explain the pyramids. First, earliest pyramids being built before the flood, and then the more pyramids being built after the flood. And they basically just told me, a bunch of tribes and stuff like that, and just, future tribes that descended from Noah saw these old buildings and just decided to resume the work. And it's like, how do you know that?
They could get a lot done with these floating Ark of the Covenant batteries and the Decepticons. They got all this stuff done.
Yeah.
Just turned it around a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Maybe that's what caused the flood. Maybe they built. Oh my God, that's what happened. They built one of these pyramids. They plugged the Ark of the Covenant in. It shot a laser up in the sky and pierced the firmament, and that's what caused the flood.
There you go.
And now what I was say is scientists theorize. Scientists theorize. Now it's legitimate hypothesis. Yeah.
That's how the windows of heaven opened up, okay? Because of the laser beam of the Ark of the Covenant. This is the second time. Okay,
I like the government better than the firmament.
I want to be open. I want to be open with everybody. based on the recommendation of medical professionals, I don't do these streams completely sober.
Fair enough.
They say it's probably bad for my psychological health if I engage with this level of nonsense. Without inebriants. So that's why I'm going to say things like Ark of the Covenant.
It insulates your brain against this stupidity. I mean,
Oh, Titan has a very good question.
He never does. He never has a very good question. And this isn't a very good question either. I'm so angry.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's a very
By
bad
the time we're at
question.
the end of this, we're
Bad
just
type.
tapioca weasel like taking big man pulls from a bottle of Benadryl. Just look.
I'm really surprised they haven't jumped to shots of the Luxor in Las Vegas when it has its light turned on into the sky. I'm really surprised they haven't used that stock footage yet.
They towards the end. I don't know if I should say this, but
Don't say it. Don't say it.
I don't want to spoil it.
Yeah.
Your Luxor comment might say it.
Oh, hey, we have high praise from P-Town. I have to agree.
Yeah.
Great job of steel manning this.
Yeah.
Decepticons.
Thanks, P-Town.
Before Moses. Although if you read the text of ancient scriptures carefully, you'll notice that electricity generation isn't the weirdest probable function the Ark had to fulfill.
I mean, I cannot imagine where they are going now. If that wasn't the weirdest probable function the Ark had, that's the setup for whatever's happening.
I'm more interested in that white substance the Ark spews when you shake it too hard. Like that's way more fascinating to me than any electricity this thing might generate.
Yeah.
And since many scholars have already begun working on scientific approaches to inexplicable parts of the Bible, perhaps, as a bonus, we'll discover the true meaning of other fantastic things the Ark
Don't touch it! Oh, man.
The primary reason why people needed the
That was
Ark
a
of the
close
Covenant
one.
was, of
Can you
course,
pause it for a second? I thought it would have been funny if they just show a guy with robed hands, and he just goes up and you see him like fiddling with a device. He's opening a thing of fish food and he just like knocks a few flakes into the top. just to see what people would do. Like, it's just a fish tank.
Just a fish tank.
Those fish would have a lot of heavy metal poisoning though, because of all the gold.
Yahweh's just this really weird looking goldfish.
They aren't fish. They're electric eels.
Yeah, they're just swarming around there.
It's all falling into place.
It's all coming together.
I need to join these scientists and researchers on this because I got some good ideas about this.
And their names are YHWH.
Hold on, Eric. Would you like to be a co-author with Titan and I on the book we're writing?
Let's publish our findings.
The God of the Old Testament could have just been 4 electric eels in a tank.
I mean, I got where I am, which, I work at a university. It's a real thing. I swear. I'm not lying. And I'm just 5 weasels in a trench coat. So.
Yeah.
Well, if you put together, like, Yahweh could have been 4 electric eels in an aquarium that they lugged around in a box made out of acacia wood. They're like, well, you need to leave the university and, check yourself into a hospital.
Yep.
So Prague here says that electric eels can produce up to 600 volts. So to get to 50,000 volts.
Ooh, okay.
Well,
that's
so actually
going to be about, 90?
I don't think they'll fit. Electric eels can be kind of big.
Yeah, no, it's the size of a refrigerator. How many eels can you fit in a refrigerator?
17 at least,
17
according to my records.
Well, the last time I shoved mine full.
Yeah, I mean, and that was my mini fridge in college. You
so 83.3 eels is what you would need for 50,000 volts. That's a lot of eel food, by the way.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but what happens if they die? You just have the other electric eels zap them back to life. It's fine.
Yeah.
Right, so.
It's like a constant defibrillator in there.
It turns out that the chest was a sort of virtual portable temple. Ancient texts say that God allegedly promised Moses to speak with him in the form of a cloud from between the 2 cherubs on the artifact's lid. This sounds more like a means of communication.
I don't think he actually says that in the passage. I don't think that's actually in there where it says he speaks to them between the cherubs.
It could be. I mean, I didn't know about the. I didn't know about the in the test for the unfaithful light. I didn't know about the dirt from like the tabernacle floor until you read it, and I've read that passage a number of times. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those weird details. Maybe it's this is one of those things where you watch this and it's like you want to get like Derek from Myth Vision or maybe Dan McClellan, like, hey, can you guys weigh in on this? And
yeah.
For instance, a walkie-talkie, especially assuming that the Ark could indeed generate electricity. So why not? Conspiracy theorists believe that God could actually be a member of another super advanced civilization. In this case, some supreme sentient beings helped our ancestors create innovative technologies like those they already had in their possession. Also, too many questions arise when you read the lines about the Ark's ability to carry those who were carrying it. Given that it weighed 300 kilograms, it's hard to imagine what features helped it reduce the burden for its carriers. And not only that, according to the Bible, the artifact could even facilitate their movement. It's considered possible if the Ark of the Covenant...
There it is!
Wow.
Everyone's favorite sci-fi sound.
It's like a slide whistle.
It's like, wait, you guys seen Uriah? Yeah, he died. He was touching that thing. Well, if he's not touching it, who's holding it down? Hold it down. It's like,
oh, maybe that was it. Maybe they weren't carrying it; they were holding it down.
Yeah,
that would make more sense. Actually,
that's brilliant.
So it didn't fly away.
When they let it go, they got to send out a crew of priests to go wrangle it.
They're like on the ground, like hooks and ropes.
Yeah,
running around the desert.
You want to get that rope around it? So it's a wily Ark.
Oh, Dad, we only get you the best videos with the best researched content.
Yeah,
in fact,
this is quality stuff.
Uriah's family's actually super pissed because the kid was like, "Oh, yeah, he was an idiot and went up and touched it." And it's like, no, actually, he was on a posse to go out and wrangle it, and somebody tricked him and gave him a silk lasso. And as soon as he got it, bam! It was like the lightning bolt into the DeLorean right down in front of the clock tower. Oh no, Uriah! Blam! Blew his sandals right off.
Oh my god!
His name was Uriah. Was the guy's name Uriah, or was it Uriah's kin?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't found the story. I was looking for it, but I didn't.
Great question.
I'm just saying Uriah just because it's easier, but.
Well, that sounds correct though, but there's probably like 18 people named the same thing. So
yeah.
I know it's Uzzah.
Uzzah. Okay.
Uzzah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. See, Nitty.
That was the sound he made when he died. We actually don't know his name.
Uzzah.
2 Samuel chapter 6, verses 6 and 7.
He was named posthumously the Z's or lightning bolts. Sorry.
So 2 Samuel 6, verses 6 and 7. When they came to the threshing floor of Nacon, Uzzah reached out and took hold of the ark of God because the oxen stumbled. The Lord's anger blazed against Uzzah because of his irreverent act. Therefore God struck him down and he died there beside the ark of God. So that animation was actually inaccurate. There was an oxen that stumbled, and that's what prompted Uzzah to reach out to try to save the ark from falling.
He was trying to keep the eels in.
And God was so upset that he cared that much about the ark, he killed him.
Yep.
Yeah.
I told you not
there
to.
There you go, Nitty. That's a beautiful comment right there, Nitty. Please
one?
Highlight that. It's beautiful.
This poor family. He did the right thing. Yeah, whatever.
You guys are fun.
Guys, I want everybody to appreciate what's on the screen right now.
Yeah.
We gotta wait until Titan.
It's a flying box.
It's a flying box, yeah, but there are words on the screen as well. They're hiding behind Titan. They're hiding behind Titan right now, though.
Oh, yeah.
And this, I tried to get rid of the thing. I can't do it when I'm streaming, I guess. This is like the title of the section in the video. the Ark as an anti-gravity device. A bold claim.
I'm sure they're going to back up their claims
I'm sure
because that is totally something that
they won't
do
just hand wave at anonymous researchers and scientists.
Why would they do that?
That
Would we show you a video without proper claims and evidence? You can't even get it out.
Yeah, we would. We're monsters, Maya.
And anti-gravitational properties letting it float. Therefore, we can surmise that the Ark could house some exotic matter, some hypothetical
Oh God, it's
substance
attacking
with
me!
unusual properties able to some exotic matter, some hypothetical substance with unusual properties able to influence gravitational pull, and we have no idea about it only because we have yet to find it.
I'm imagining
curious-
like the day the Earth stood still, the Ark just floating over the camp, just zapping tents and killing people.
Oh. If it's an anti-gravity device, it's not on Earth anymore. Okay, it's way out in space.
It's out there.
Like we're gonna have to go find. We're gonna find it, and it's gonna be right next to. So, have you guys seen Star Trek: The Motion Picture?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
When they find Voyager,
Yeah.
they find Voyager, and Voyager is there, and it's like an ancient thing that they like worship. Maybe Voyager is hanging out right next to the Ark.
It's in a weird time loop kind of thing. Yeah.
It could totally be a thing.
Yeah.
Leave it.
Fact is that the Ark could not only get off the ground,
There it
but
goes
fly
again.
impressive distances. It turns out that the chest could have been something like a navigation device for the Israelites.
What?
Judging by ancient texts, it could suddenly take off into the sky at any moment and head somewhere, and the wanderer.
What?
Wait,
It doesn't
Is this
say
a
that.
thing?
The only thing I can think of, there's two things that I think they could be kind of gleaning this from. One is the idea of the pillar of smoke and the pillar of fire. So it was fire
That's
by
not the
night.
Ark.
Right, I know. But what it would do is, this is the goofiest thing. It's another thing that people don't really like, especially like when you're in Sunday school. This does not get illustrated in a way to make you as a kid realize how weird it is. It would touch off the ground, fly off into the horizon, probably making that exact same noise, boop, and it would touch down somewhere in the distance, and that's where the Israelites had to go. They had to march in that direction and make camp wherever it touched down. So the idea that it was in like the Ark didn't need to do this, the pillar of fire was already doing that. And then they had another magical thing following them around, the rock that issued the waters of Meribah. There was a rock that floated around that you could, if you beat it with a stick, it'd squirt some water at you. And we've already seen this Ark of the Covenant squirt some stuff. I want to say it's Sprite, but others suggested something a little bit more lewd. But yeah, I think they're just combining all this stuff together into one narrative.
Oh. Okay.
Were supposed to follow it. Sometimes they had to walk for 3 days to catch up with the Ark. Roaming from place to place, it guided people through the desert. However, if we trust Scripture, it's safe to say that the Ark occasionally made mistakes and showed the Israelites the wrong way. On the other hand,
What?
I mean, it got lost for 40 fucking years,
I
my
was gonna say
guy.
that too. It's a long time in the desert.
It sometimes you can't really get the direction wrong. Like, there were too many people in that part. Like, all you had to do is like, if you
Fan out. Everybody hold hands and walk next to each other. And guess what? You're gonna stretch across the entirety of the Arabian Peninsula.
Yeah.
You're not gonna miss something.
It's like if the Mediterranean was kind of to your left and behind you, and the Red Sea was directly behind you, then look to your left and walk that way, and you're going to make it. But like, you can't get lost. Like, it's just insane.
Well, I mean, to be fair, they didn't have like Polaris wasn't at the North Pole back then, so
Oh yeah, because the Earth is flat. Right.
What? No, because it actually wasn't. It was 12 degrees away because of precession. But yeah,
Oh, okay.
that's the fix. That's the fix that we fake scientists pretend, because the Earth is, in fact, as you mentioned, flat. It is. Yeah. Sorry.
maybe it was intentional, since, according to the Bible, God punished them with years of wilderness wandering for breaking the precepts.
It sounds like the Ark punished them with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the same time, the Ark did everything it could to ease their journey and protect.
Except for giving them directions?
Yeah.
What?
How did it protect them?
I'm going to ease your journey that I am actively lengthening needlessly.
Yeah, if you want to talk about protection, why don't you bring that up to Uzzah?
Yeah.
God's faithful followers. The sacred
Don't touch
text
it.
mentioned that the artifact cleared the path with the help of lightning flashes forming between the two cherubs and presumably got rid of snakes, scorpions, thorn bushes, and other dangers. As we've already determined, it indeed had a
Vaporize that
theoretical
snake. like a Star Trek phaser. Vaporize that snake.
I forgot about this part. Holy shit.
Oh my god. What is that?
Oh, that poor snake was just sitting there.
Oh.
to generate electricity. Now it seems that the Ark could be an
there goes
analog
again.
of a modern drone, only much more enhanced.
No, it's
There could have been some AI software operating it that made
What?
could have been. I mean, it could have been a leprechaun. I mean, if we're just gonna like throw crap at the walls to see what sticks, I mean,
AI software.
Welcome, Kat.
Maybe the 83.3 eels that were inside like formed like a neural net. And collectively they were a brain
It was
that
because-
really hated snakes in the
it was
desert.
because of the constant defibrillation. They neither slept nor died, and they became weirdly.
It's kind of like the Stargate SG-1. Remember in the Stargate movie, the sarcophagus, which could resurrect pretty much anybody.
Yeah, yeah.
In the Stargate SG-1 series, there was a really devious Goa'uld who wanted to punish some other Goa'uld, or his people rebelled against him. They wanted to punish him, so they threw him in the sarcophagus with a bunch of flesh-eating beetles and sealed it up. So the flesh-eating beetles were constantly chewing the guy to death, while the sarcophagus is resurrecting him. And he was in there for like 10,000 years, like really super insane, like demented stuff.
Eternal
Maybe
Cast
that's what-
Torment.
Maybe that's what those eels were going through. Like it was like
Yeah.
a nightmare. They couldn't.
They're all
they
just
couldn't-
tripping. They're just
Yeah.
all collectively tripping balls.
Yeah. Oh, I wouldn't want to be those eels.
Apart from the Ark, though, the Bible describes other artifacts that may also prove to be breakthrough technologies. Some parts of the holy text.
Well, I'm half expecting LK99 to show up in the page of the Bible. Nobody?
LK99.
Okay.
Is it that's
Never mind.
a superconductor they're looking
Yeah,
into?
that was,
yeah.
that was the turns out it
Possible
Almost.
superconductor. They're trying to
Yeah.
determine whether it is or not. Yeah.
almost 100% sure at this point it's not, but
bummer.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
I was giving it a chance until just like a few weeks ago, but then the jury is mostly in. Is my point.
That's a
Lead
bummer.
us to think that in
Yeah.
tandem with other artifacts, the Ark of the Covenant could cope with very versatile tasks. For example, Scripture says that Moses, together with his people liberated from Egyptian slavery, spent 40 years wandering through the Sinai Desert and trying to find the Promised Land. I have a question. How did all those travelers manage to stay alive for such a long time? Yes, I know that a lot of the Israelites died of old age during the journey, but none of them died of, for example, hunger. Research
How the
How do we
hell
know
do
that?
you know?
How do we know that?
Because they got manna from heaven, and it was magic. It was magic food that fell like rain,
Yeah.
How'd you know?
and it was probably because the Ark.
Yep, that's coming up.
I Yes.
studied the Bible and found a detail that throws light on this confusion.
This isn't a tiny detail, okay? This is a very famous story. This isn't like a weird little detail. The fact that the Jews survived on manna when they were out in the wilderness is like a central thing. And then one time they tried to collect too much, and it all went horribly rotten.
Yep. They tried to store
Like,
it.
yeah, it's a whole thing.
In fact, you've probably heard the phrase manna from heaven in the sense that you've got to do something to achieve your goal instead of just waiting around for manna from heaven. It sounds like some abstract phenomenon able to solve all your problems at once, but in
What?
truth, it was quite
Okay,
That's so random. Yeah, it doesn't
why
solve
did
all
we
your
suddenly
problems.
have Will Smith Genie in there? Like, what?
The reason that I gotta do this. The reason that they had to get manna from heaven is because they give the numbers of the people that are wandering around, and they give the number of their cattle, and it's a massive number for both.
Yeah.
The reason they have to get manna is because they spend most of their time sacrificing the meat to
Hmm.
Yahweh. It's a
Yeah.
constant daisy chain. It's an assembly line of constant barbecue and
Because
only
he
the
likes the
priest
smell.
and nobody else can eat it. Only the priest can eat it, and there's some dispensations, I think, for other people under certain circumstances. But for the most part, it's just being burned. And then, yeah, so they get manna. Then there's the famous story where they're complaining all they've got is manna, and they would like some meat. And God's like,
And then
oh
they get
yeah,
like infinite quail.
infinite quail, but because that God gave them quail, but He didn't lift His prohibition on them eating animals they found dead, so thousands of them got sick and died. And He's like, ha ha, serves you right, eat the manna.
Hmm.
Like yeah, Yahweh is a little bit like Rick Sanchez from Rick and Morty in some cases.
And he got the meaning of manna from heaven wrong. He said that manna
Yeah,
from heaven means to not expect things to just fall into your lap. But
Yeah,
that's exactly what manna from heaven
No,
means. It means something good has fallen in your lap.
it actually, in that context, that was the point. Was that he was saying you've heard it in this context of you have to work. Don't expect manna from heaven.
Oh, okay.
So it
must have misheard him then.
actually. Yeah. It actually because I was like literally saying exactly the same point, and then I realized, oh, actually, technically that was correct, I think, but technically correct, the best kind,
The best kind of correct.
Find a real object. To be precise, manna from heaven is an edible bread-like substance. As if on cue, it literally fell from the skies and tasted like wafers with honey. The Bible says that each day, the wandering Jews gathered 1 omer of manna per family member, or 3 liters if we use a familiar metric unit. Contemporary botanists assure us that the mysterious product exists to this day and is
Assures
listed in
us.
what?
I feel very assured.
What?
I had never actually heard about this part. I'd heard the other theory that it's like aphid drippings that dry on certain leaves, and then after they dry, they kind of get blown off like a pollen. It's like a simple. It's kind of like a carbohydrate or something. It's like dextrose, and you could kind of turn that into basically like a sugar wafer. How people would survive on that is beyond me. But it might have a protein in it. People have examined that.
Like aphid saliva or something, or like aphid poop?
Who knows? It might be a combination of both. I don't know what kind of aphid they're talking about. Actually, Bree would be a good one to ask about that if she's ever heard about that particular aphid and what it's supposed to do. But the idea that it's going to produce the kind of yield that they're talking about is kind of crazy. But this first part, it's like this. I think they mentioned the name of a botanist who credits manna with being like it's like the pollen coming off a particular tree that grew in the Sinai. I'd never heard of that.
Yeah. Well, okay. I mean, at least that vaguely makes some sort of sense.
Yeah.
among the Sinai.
But yeah, because I had never heard botanists being like, I had never heard that this was a plant or a plant byproduct, like, ever.
Yeah. Bree says it's called honeydew. It is sweet. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yep.
Peninsula export goods. Moreover, the main ingredient of manna is registered in all botanical reference books published in the Middle East. According to them, this is a plant called tamarix or tamarisk, although the German botanist Christian Gottfried Ehrenberg had a different opinion. In 1823, he published an article where he wrote that manna from heaven is a substance on tamarisk shrubs produced by certain colonies of aphids found in Sinai. Despite this, the botanist had no actual proof to back it up. Only a century later,
Well, then, okay.
scientists from the Hebrew University of Jerusalem, Friedrich Simon and Oscar Theodore, went on an expedition to the Sinai Peninsula to finally clarify the controversial story of manna from heaven and determine if it's even real. Not only did they return with the first photos of it, but fully confirmed the conclusions made by Ehrenberg. They also ensured that the wilderness wanderings of the Israelites from the Bible have a factual basis.
There's a lot of claims that were just dropped there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like several. Yeah, I just wanted us to like all have a moment to like absorb that, and yeah,
The colonies of aphids.
yeah.
A moment of silence for the facts that won't be that we won't find proof for.
I think, yeah, my brain's melting here. There was so much
Mentioned
stuff
by
on this show there.
Welcome to Bad Science,
But it's
Sante.
like,
I hope you're
but
enjoying.
like,
your,
let's say all that was true, and yes, scientists has discovered that there is a white substance that can appear on these plants. Don't know really where it comes from. Might be, aphid poop and saliva and mixed in with dust and whatever. And it's sweet tasting and yada yada yada. Like, okay, let's say okay, that's all true. That doesn't mean it comes from God. Doesn't mean there was enough back then to feed 2 million traveling Israelites in the desert.
Yeah,
It's like
and cattle and
you can
cattle.
see the seeds of the myth right there. If this is all true, you can see that these were actually seeds of this myth that eventually grew into this crazy story that we have today.
Yeah, this starts sounding a little bit like the weird thing about trying to like explain away America with a naturalistic explanation too is kind of odd, because even if you do like, oh well, this could occur naturally. It's like, yeah, but you couldn't have gotten that yield necessary to feed
Yeah.
the group of people of the size of the group that they're talking about, which even that group being there is also probably exaggerated, because it would be miraculous that they could survive in those numbers and
Yeah.
not destroy the local environment they were in.
And leave no shred of archaeological evidence in their wake. Also,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ehrenberg turned out to be small insects secreting special viscous juices that stick to the plants and have a peculiar
Is there a market for like for people to like sell viscous juices?
if you call it manna from heaven, I'm sure you'll get some religious folks too.
I'm actually trying to remember. I think there is a cuisine that this is a component of it, and I'm trying to remember where it's from and what it is.
Sometimes I ask questions and I don't expect answers.
Sorry.
And then the people that I'm associated with give them to me, and I'm like, you know what? You brought this upon yourself, Andy. This is all on you.
sweet taste like honey. All right, it looks like we finally identified the ingredients, but why was it supposed to fall from the sky? Translators of sacred writings Rodney Dale and George Sassoon concluded in the work process that the Ark of the Covenant was the exact source of manna. The researchers claimed that the device produced it from algae, but they never
That's the
specified
white
what kind of
stuff that
algae.
comes out the top. It all makes sense now.
Oh, full circle.
It's all coming together. Praise God.
Was, or how it could be available in the middle of the
Praise God,
Man,
from
this
whom
Ark of the
all
Covenant, it's like
blessings
it's a
flow.
Swiss Army knife. It vaporizes snakes in the desert. It flies around, showing you where to go most of the time accurately. You shake it enough, it spews mana up into the sky, which then falls down around you.
And I'm wondering
It's
too, like,
glorious. Oh, and it's also it's also a pyramid battery. It is a Swiss Army knife.
Now, if you get an opportunity to watch Raised by Wolves and you find out what one of the androids can do, basically it's an Ark of the Covenant. It's great. It's great.
Yeah.
the desert. Despite these inconsistencies, George, who was also educated in engineering, decided to reproduce the machine in the way he imagined it. The upper part of the device is a filter cleaning the air and water when they enter the algae tanks. At the same time, the machine is exposed to intensive light. The whole volume of algae travels into another tank where part of it turns into a mushy mass. Then, under a high temperature, it gets a honey-like taste. Considering that the Ark could generate electricity, there's a possibility it could power this device. But its functions don't end there. If paired with other artifacts, it could work absolutely differently. For example,
But wait, there's more!
Oh my God.
This part here about Moses' staff, I have no idea where they pulled this out of, but it's great.
Oh.
with the staff of Moses. Ancient texts tell that it was given to Adam in the Garden of Eden, and that it passed down through
Is
the
it going to say that the
generations.
rod was a control rod?
Does it say that anywhere? Does it say that the staff of Moses was given to Adam in the Garden of Eden?
I think there's some kind of folk tale about this, but I don't think it's anywhere in a book of the Bible.
Yeah, that That doesn't sound remotely familiar on any level
I
at
think
all.
it's sort of like I think it's somewhere in that like category of like Lilith kind of legends. Like it's just not.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
in a previous graphic they had Maccabees 1 and 2 on one of their books. So who knows what they're drawing upon for their sources?
Yeah. Who
Yeah.
knows?
Assuming
I'm
they're
pretty
just pulling
sure-
this right out of their asses.
Right? Yeah. No, that's what you got
And
to
there's
do.
that.
You stand up, you put your feet at like shoulder width apart, you limber up, and then you just reach back there and yank.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tighten up. Yep.
And yeah, but I'm actually convinced that there are a huge number of like low effort creators out there who when they're looking for like, you know, things to back up the stuff that they're shoveling out, don't realize that Maccabees is not in the Old Testament. They just don't realize that because there are a lot of references to Maccabees.
Yeah.
Right? So
Okay. Here's something.
Suggests that
Let's see. There is a Jewish legend regarding the staff of Moses. According to tradition, Moses' staff, often referred to as the rod of Aaron, had miraculous powers. One of the most well-known stories, staff's transformation into a serpent in the Pharaoh's presence.
which they also did.
Yeah.
It performed other miracles, bringing forth water from a rock.
Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
I don't see anything in here related to it ever being passed down from Adam.
Was it the same staff that Joshua had, that when he held it up they won the battle, and when his arms got tired they were losing the battle? Was it the same staff? Because I could totally believe that Joshua and Moses, and you know, I could believe them having the same staff.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if it was.
Yeah.
Moses kept the artifact in the Ark of the Covenant. The staff
What? No. What?
was thought to possess enormous power, as it helped Moses out of trouble when the Pharaoh sent a vast army against the Israelites that had departed from Egypt. The army caught up with them while they were camped near the coast of what we nowadays refer to as the Red Sea. Then Moses raised the staff above the water, and a strong east wind caused the sea to split. The Israelites escaped by walking on dry land through the midst of the sea. Researchers believe the secret of the staff's superpower lies in how it looks, as it has nothing in common with a regular walking stick. The Bible provides us with the following description. Its head looked like a hook, and its lower part resembled a hollow tube ending in the form of a two-pronged fork that had to be pulled out and then pushed back inside.
An extension cord.
It's a USB.
Oh my
It's a thumb drive. Oh, so there is something about this. Something to this. I don't know about the descriptions. I don't know where they're getting that from. There is a Jewish legend that suggests that Moses' staff was connected to Adam. So in some rabbinic traditions, it was
I can
passed.
totally believe that. Yeah, I can
Yeah.
totally believe that there's a tradition about it. I don't know that it's in the Bible.
I don't think it's even part of like. I don't think you can find stories about it even in the Hebrew Bible, which is arranged differently. But for the most part, everything it's got a few other things like the Maccabees and stuff like that. But,
exactly. Yeah.
But it does. This one source I'm looking at, it indicates that one of the rabbinic traditions says that it was created during the first 6 days of creation. So it starts with Adam, and then it was handed down from Enoch to Noah to Shem to Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and then to Joseph. And then eventually coming into the possession of Moses. Interesting, it kind of stops at that Joseph. It doesn't talk about the other Joseph that followed Moses that held it up to stop the sun in the sky. But yeah. So there's some legends about it, and apparently it's a really ugly Excalibur.
It's the poor man's Excalibur. So
If it was all about the-
did he like touch the two prongs at the end of it? Does he like touch that to the cherub tips of their wings to charge it?
You gotta leave it there for 15 minutes to fast charge.
It's like,
Damn it, signal's bad.
you new guy, hold this staff here just like this for the next 30 minutes.
Oh fuck, he died.
Oh, and if you let go of it early, it'll kill you.
Where's my charge boy?
Bye, I'm going to lunch.
Uzza tried to save the cart, remember? Oh yeah, that stupid ox. Yeah. You will be my new charge boy. Stand over here. I've got an update that needs to download.
I got a good feeling about you, staff boy. I think you're gonna be around for a while.
It's a software update, so you're going to be here for a minute.
Almighty power of God, why would anyone need to make the stick's construction so complex? Most likely, the staff was nothing less than a high-tech device. Some scientists
Of
believe
course.
that it could indeed part the waters, provided that it was able to create a powerful wind flow or strong vibration. Now, let me tell you about another
Why?
curious mechanism modern.
What?
Yeah, it just moves on from that. Like, hey, it either did this or it did that. My thing is, why settle for one or the other? Why not both?
Por qué no los dos?
Yeah, it's just, oh my god. It obviously was some kind of high-tech device, way ahead of its time.
Totally.
Yeah.
100%.
modern
Kind of like
researchers have
it
managed
kind
to
of reminds me of
come
like a
up
D&D
with
weapon. It has like so many charges of like wind energy, and they gotta like recharge it.
But you can't wield it if you're chaotic evil.
Yeah,
Only if you're chaotic good.
You do just the right alignment.
commonly exploited for military purposes. Scripture teaches us that after 40 years of wandering, the Jews entered the Promised Land and approached the city of Jericho. However, it already belonged to the Palestinians and was surrounded by impenetrable stone walls. Then, God told the travelers to use the Ark of the Covenant to conquer the city. For 6 days, priests carried the Ark around the fortress. On the 7th day, they started blowing the ritual trumpets that were later called the Trumpets of Jericho. At that very moment, the city walls crumbled down. Archaeological studies.
I'm not gonna lie, this was like my favorite episode of VeggieTales.
I never saw them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
didn't
that
either.
big fan of VeggieTales.
Those were a little
Yeah.
after my time. Yeah.
Yeah, it's some top high notch propaganda that even though
Yeah.
it's propaganda, it's not that bad, you know.
Can
It's just,
you wait? It's basically like Sunday school propaganda, right?
yeah, exactly.
think so, yeah.
Can you
Exactly.
still get them?
You can totally still get them, yes. For
Yeah, I want to say
free, I
so
don't know.
because Telltale talks about it from like a lot, and I think he said that last time I watched something, he was talking about a new one that just dropped. VeggieTales just
Yeah,
dropped.
there's still a thing. The guy who actually did like VeggieTales and like created it, he actually has appeared on Paul Gia's channel a
I was
few
about to
times.
mention that. Yeah.
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 So like, it's and I don't think they're involved with it anymore, and I think that person has gone through like some sort of deconstruction, but I think they're still a Christian.
I think he's still a conservative Christian, but he's not a young Earth creationist. And that episode of Apologia you mentioned, that was him and Apologia talking trash about Ken Ham and his
Yeah.
nonsense. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's along that line. It does not feel, and I do not remember it being nearly as bad as the Whatever and Sophia videos that Telltale responds to a
That's
lot.
a Caleb and Sophia video.
Caleb and
Yeah,
Sophia.
Yeah,
Yeah,
those
I
are
can
done
remember
by
the guys.
Jehovah's Witnesses, and those are disgusting videos.
Those are.
Oh, those ones.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Those are. Here's why you should be a jerk to your friend who talks about the fact that they happen to have two moms.
Yeah. Here's why you should tell your friend that their two moms are wrong. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you
It's
grew
like-
up on VeggieTales, huh, Eric?
No, I didn't actually.
No?
I grew up as a
Really?
Jehovah's Witness, but I didn't grow up in VeggieTales. No.
Okay.
Jehovah's Witnesses
Yeah, no, I
don't.
had friends that
Yeah.
were not Jehovah's Witnesses, but I remember going to their house and watching VeggieTales and Caleb and Sophia.
Oh.
Well, actually, no. Caleb and Sophia is fairly new. Probably
Okay, maybe I'm wrong.
10 years older or less, because that's Caleb and Sophia is CG. So that's CG. The Witnesses started doing that about 10 years ago. So you might be thinking of something else there.
Maybe.
Well, okay. VeggieTales is also totally computer generated.
It is, but not.
Oh.
It's a bit more ancient. But actually, let me look it up.
It's pretty. It looks pretty good though. Like its production.
I mean, as far as I know, Maya was over at a friend's house 10 years ago watching cartoons.
Was it?
so-
I know, right?
Maybe
Watching
it wasn't.
cartoons.
Yeah.
Maybe it was something else. I thought it was Caleb and Sophia, but I could be wrong.
I mean, maybe it
again,
wasn't.
it was
Maybe
like
it was
okay.
just.
it was something in the 80s.
Maybe it
90s,
was just
something
normal
like that.
animation.
So Caleb and Sophia would not have been on any type of broadcast network. It would have been. It would
No,
have
it was all tapes. Yeah.
been tapes.
Oh,
or DVDs.
I never saw VeggieTales on any like broadcast network. It was all through church. It was just I went to
Wow.
Sunday
Yeah.
school a lot, and Yeah, the youth group. I did some youth group stuff probably.
I feel bad for getting us in this tangent. The only reason I ask is because if I can get a collection of Veggie Tales, like
I
the
did
early
it.
ones, I want to do it as a. Yeah, you did. I want to get these and give these to my nephew as a gag gift because he didn't get raised in the church. Anytime we've gone to do anything remotely religious with him as a family,
Yeah.
we were at a funeral for a relative, and the guys that gave the eulogy were two kind of fundamentalist pastors, and one of them kept kind of like dropping like rapture kind of dialogue, and he'd do this, and my nephew's sitting there, and at the time he was like 15 years old, 14 years old, and he's looking around at all of us like, what the fuck are they talking about? Like, yeah, we'll explain this to you when we get home. It gets crazier than you think. It's awesome.
So the Caleb and Sophia videos are the official title of that series is Become Jehovah's Friend, and it started in 2012. They have 19 episodes over 12 years, something like that. Yeah.
Okay. That was totally a different kids thing. No, yeah, it was like late 80s, early 90s. But I mean, there's no shortage of like
Christian
theme.
propaganda.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Especially like back then was Satanic Panic. So there was a bunch of stuff out back then.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
These at the location.
But yeah, my the way we got here, by the way, was me reminding everybody that Jericho was my favorite VeggieTales episode, which is still true.
Ancient Jericho confirmed that the outer
Why
walls
did they march around the city? Why did they march around the city with the Ark? They should have just let the Ark loose to shoot lightning down.
I had a different.
Or
So you know the graphic that they showed with like the big shofar pointed at the walls? They were like ground mounted. I thought like maybe they were going to try to say, okay, what they did was they rigged these special shofar around the perimeter of the walls, and the reason they had to walk around it for 6 days was so that they could charge them all up equally. You know, they pass the arc around it, and it's like wireless charging. And then on the 6th day, they set them off like a bomb.
Maybe. Or maybe the 6 days of walking around Jericho, that was them just shaking the ark and just charging all that energy, getting ready for that release.
And then it's like Wana Fanta and then blammo.
Yeah. And just the walls couldn't take it. If it was me and I had the ark right there in Jericho, I would have like just slapped a sign on the ark that says free candy and just left it at the doorstep and just let everyone just touch it, trying to open the ark.
It'd be funny that a bunch of people do that. The sign blows away, and then it turns around, blows, and hits back, and one guy goes running toward. No, you idiot! Like,
no, you idiot! This is how you do it.
And then outside they blow the shofar for Huzzah!
In a rather specific way. In the case of an enemy charge, they were supposed to be pushed inward.
The enemy is charging! Huzzah!
Yeah.
But instead, much to their surprise, researchers concluded that they fell outwards. This could happen in case the trumpets were making a loud, low-frequency sound. Special laboratory tests have already confirmed that infrasound can produce a pretty devastating effect. Consequently, the arc here could have served as an additional
Special laboratory
amplifier.
tests equate to stone walls surrounded by guys with horns can have devastating effects.
Yeah.
That's quite the leap. Quite the leap indeed.
Both Nazi Germany and the USSR tried to create something similar. Today, Israel has not just one, but 3 acoustic weapons systems. One of them, named Shofar, has a certain external resemblance.
I mean,
Why Israel? Like, when to say, like, I don't know. Okay, go ahead.
It's been a resource for them. It worked for it worked when they needed to topple Jericho, and it's working for them now.
Also, I gotta say, the gumption that this guy has to disparage others for using acoustic weaponry, he's doing psychic damage with every word he says, right? He's doing psychic damage with every word he says, and so take the log out of your own eye before you criticize the splinter in somebody else's eye, right?
Yes.
Said a wise man once or something.
Riddle used psychic attack. It was super effective.
Resemblance to the legendary trumpets of Jericho. This is a sophisticated machine made of 36 adjacent sound tubes. A similar weapon has already been used by the Israeli Defense Forces against Palestinian demonstrators. And even though it affected only people, nobody knows for sure if some of the present-day countries have a secret weapon in their arsenals that could destroy large structures with the help of sound. While in theory, it is possible. And if we had that famous Ark, we could learn many new things. And of course, if we'd already found it, our modern lives would have been entirely different. Once you figured out what incredible features the Ark of the Covenant might hypothetically have had, I'm sure you'd
Every one of those
start
flying cars has a mini Ark inside of it. You cannot touch, or else it'll kill you.
I love this. What would
Well,
happen if we
okay.
find the Ark of the Covenant? Yeah, it'll be awesome. Yeah, we
Oh my
we
God.
pop the top, and there's a bunch of dead eels in there. The power is
To
out.
be fair, I would not recommend licking your thumbs and fingers and then grabbing your car battery. I would
Yeah,
not
don't do
recommend
that.
doing that.
Don't do that.
While
Don't.
that's not quite as bad as the Ark, having a power source inside of your flying car that would kill you if you touch it, that could totally make sense.
Yeah.
Right? Like old TVs, were famous for being really dangerous because
Oh,
they
yeah.
had like huge capacitors, and if you hit the wrong thing, you'd get like 18 trillion volts.
Yeah,
I mean,
those
18,000 volts with a lot of charge. Like they can pump. Yeah.
They could hold charge for like years after they've been thrown into a dump. Like, yeah.
Well, there's an effect that can happen with capacitors where you can short out and uncharge a capacitor, and then you can store it. And if you don't store it shorted, there are like chemical and whatever ways that charge can just build up over
Oh
time.
man.
And so whenever I see a capacitor that's like larger than the tip of my finger, I always short it out before I touch it because
I've had to change a bunch of
they can
capacitors.
kill you. Yeah,
I've had to change a bunch of capacitors and like old monitors and stuff because sometimes capacitors like they go really cheap on
Yeah.
their construction and they like bulge
Exactly.
and they become useless. Yeah.
Yeah. Capacitors, a big capacitor can kill you, and the smaller ones will hurt like hell. So yeah.
Yeah.
wondering how to use this artifact for your own benefit. However, this clever thought would cross not only your mind, it already came to the person who stole the Ark. It had allegedly
Harrison Ford, how dare you?
Yeah.
Why would you do this?
been kept in
Sorry, Indiana Jones. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Solomon's temple in Jerusalem before the Babylonians besieged the city in 586 BC. After the temple had been destroyed, the artifact disappeared. Since then, archaeologists from all over the world have been trying to track it down, and even Hitler was obsessed with the dream of getting it during the Second World War to use it against enemies.
Maybe.
Yeah, we know. We saw the movie that
Yeah.
you're stealing from.
Caleb links the car battery directly. Yes.
If your tongue's big enough to make contact on both the positive and negative terminals, yeah, go for it. If you want to sample, that
Maya,
well,
we're gonna get sued.
just do it with a 9-volt battery. Just put a 9-volt battery in your tongue. It's not fun.
Yeah, well, you see, the thing is, a normal D-cell 9-volt is not fun. If you get one of like those big boxy ones, that's way less fun.
Yeah.
It's scary to imagine what could happen if this treasure falls into the wrong hands.
Somebody
That's
shut
why
the Ark
researchers keep trying to find it so tirelessly.
That had audio.
Falls into the wrong.
See?
Was that the actual audio from the movie? That sounded more like just a stock fire audio.
It did kind of, yeah, like a flamethrower.
Maybe, but I saw the movie fairly recently, and like that particular scene is not particularly realistic. So it kind of sounded like that. Anyway,
To the wrong hands. That's why researchers keep trying to find it so tirelessly. In 2020,
The researchers have to find it because it's such an awesome piece of technology. Like balls. That's
It's just
bullshit.
floating randomly around the desert, and they can't find it yet.
And we can't find it yet. Why don't they just listen for it? It makes that goofy sound.
Yeah, that slide whistle noise.
it's so insulting to the entire discipline of history that the only reason you would want to find something like this is because of its technological value. That's absolutely asinine.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, I totally want like a more efficient microwave. So give me the Ark of the Covenant. They aren't wrong, but you know.
A mysterious pit opened up on the Temple Mount in Israel. It stretched down, forming a remarkably massive hole. Many locals quickly suggested it could be the secret
A remarkably massive hole. Maybe it was a large hole the size of a small hole.
place where the Ark was supposedly stored. The Israelis treat this artifact very seriously and hope the Ark never left the country and is really hidden somewhere within its borders. Experts never got a chance to test this hypothesis because the territory of the Temple Mount belongs to a religious group that denies access to all visitors. Although British journalist Graham Hancock claims he's...
Oh,
Hey,
God.
hold on. They identified him as a journalist. That is less bad than identifying him as an archaeologist, which so many people do.
Yeah, and he's not.
He's not a journalist either, but you know, he's a very, very bad journalist without ethics.
Yeah.
But
It was the
Very true. No, but you can't have an official documentary without the obligatory picture of Nikola Tesla and quote from Graham Hancock. We all know this.
indeed,
Yep.
These are facts, true facts.
Yeah, no, I mean, any Bad Science Sunday vet knows this.
already found the exact location of the Ark, and it's not the pit on Jerusalem's hill. Graham thinks that after the Babylonians had besieged the city, the artifact was transported down the Nile River to Elephantine Island and then placed in the Church of Our Lady Mary of Zion, located in the small Ethiopian town of Axum. The locals repeatedly mention that the Ark is housed in this exact church. Nevertheless, armed guards are constantly present on the site, meaning
I'm sure
it's
that's good
nearly
for tourism.
impossible.
Yeah. This does, like, I've heard of this before. There's probably a lot of people who really are convinced this is the Ark. No one else is, like, at all, remotely.
Yeah,
But,
sounds like it's something concocted by the Aksum JCs, you know, for gin up visitors.
yeah. The whole, like, phenomenon of, like, relicism, like, relics, is... I mean, like, how many different sets... how many different places claim to have the foreskin of Jesus Christ?
How many are there?
There's a lot. I don't know. It's a lot, though.
More than one, in my
way
opinion.
more than one.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, I just don't think that we need to be thinking that much about Jesus's foreskin.
Yeah. Well, it's like the people that, I mean, even people that are convinced that the Shroud of Turin is a forgery, they'll, you know, just you know, it's just a concoction. Still go and see it. It's still an attraction.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Well, to investigate.
Brings in those sweet
If we-
tourist dollars.
Indeed. Okay, what the hell is the LHC doing on screen? Why is this happening to me?
Why not?
Physicists of our time finally received permission to study this multifunctional artifact one day. They may well revolutionize the world of modern technologies. First of all, they should bring the Ark to the Great Pyramid of Giza and set it in the king's chamber.
Plug it
If
in.
tests
Oh my
this
God.
right, and it really acts as a generator, we'll forget about electricity.
If you
bills
thought the
once and
black
for all.
hole by the Large
Let's imagine
Hadron
this.
Collider was dangerous, wait till we do this.
This is my favorite part. My favorite, like, oh, they should just take. I'm like, wait, are they going to get to this part? And they're like, yeah, they should. When if they find it,
Oh
take
my
it to
God, you're
Giza,
right.
plug it in.
Plug it in the pyramid.
You're right. They mentioned the pyramids like vaguely, but the name of the video is an unnoticed hole inside the pyramid could change everything.
And
It's right there.
that's what it could change if you plug it in. It ushers in the future.
I was about to ask if they're going to loop back around to the hole in the pyramid, and here it is. It's all coming together.
I'm so glad that the Giza pyramid got the arc it deserved in this narrative. So
Thank
I
God.
hope when they do find the Ark and they bring it to the pyramid, and then one guy's like, "Will this destroy the world if we plug this in?" And one guy's going to be like, "Nope, YOLO," and then he just plugs it in.
That, for the
Well-
record, will this destroy the world when it's plugged in, is exactly what this guy right here is thinking.
yeah, that's what he's thinking. Well, here's the thing: not only does it work, but it also bursts forth its white ooze, and these guys
Yeah.
are just dancing in slow mo.
Is this going to drown the world in sweet mana?
Pure liquid mana?
just this will be like Noah's Ark all over again, except it's mana spooge.
Oh,
Students from the University of Minnesota also guessed correctly, and the Ark
those fictional students.
Turn it off, Otto. Turn it off. We can't. It's self-sustaining.
can create a powerful charge. What does it mean? If so, we'll discover the source of limitless energy.
There it goes.
Furthermore, together with the mana machine, the Ark may help to solve the hunger problem that is incredibly frustrating in some regions. But how long would this technological paradise last? Quite a short time. When everyone...
This just turned into like an episode of Tron.
Yeah,
that's not a show, but like whatever.
Yeah, you didn't get a shot of Luxor, but you did get a troned up version of a pyramid.
That was a troned up pyramid. Yeah, you're right. Well, I'm satisfied now. I'm gonna go to bed happy.
One finds out the Ark's precise location in the Great Pyramid of Giza. It'll be so easy to
Transformers! Yes! Transformers!
The entire world will erupt into wars over this.
Are you kidding me?
Oh my god!
Will erupt into wars over this exceptional.
These right here are Autobots and or Decepticons.
Those are both Decepticons. That's
are they?
Yeah, that's Megatron and the villain of the movie up there, and they're trying to activate this laser to basically sap all the energy out of the sun.
Wow.
I hope they show Optimus Prime, a newly rebuilt Optimus Prime, just do a drive-by and blow them up, because that's what happened in the movie.
Oh my God.
He just flew by and just shot it, and just the whole thing blew up.
Remember, that's just an example of one of the kinds of wars we could be looking at if the technology gets out of hand.
This could be our future, you guys. we just have to subscribe to the cult of Nikola Tesla.
Yep.
I will found this. Well, okay, Elon Musk has already founded the cult. I will defeat him in an epic combat, and then I will take over his wand. It'll be great.
Do what with his wand now?
Don't worry about it.
Tesla's wand is probably Moses' staff. I'm just warning you.
Other things can be used as a deadly weapon. The warring party that seizes the chest first will save a lot of money with its help, as there's no need to reload it. Besides,
you don't have to reload Noah's Ark. You can just go all day. All day, baby.
The Staff of Aaron only had 50 charges. Once it was out, you had to like plug it into the Ark to recharge it.
Yeah.
It makes sense that the Ark has infinite energy with all those regenerating 83.3 and regenerating electric eels inside. I mean, that's just science.
Yeah.
Who would win in a fight, the Death Star or Noah's Ark?
Oh,
That's a good question.
yeah. Well, I think
it performs the functions of several devices at once.
Oh my,
There it goes again.
sorry.
the Ark of the Covenant is going to take it will take on all comers. I mean, it can blow up everything.
Yeah.
All it needs is the Pyramid of Giza.
Yeah. Just plug it in.
Well, there they go. Look.
As there's no need to reload it. Besides, it performs the functions of several devices at once. It can replace navigation and missile guidance systems, and it can be both a drone and assault rifle, producing high-voltage electric charges.
Take that, Tabernacle.
Now, what they need to do is make a movie with The Rock where he just walks around with that thing in front of him and uses it as a gun.
Walking tall, but instead of a 2x4, it's Noah.
It's the Ark of the
Not
Covenant.
Noah's Ark.
He's
Not
just
Noah's Ark. The Ark of the Covenant.
Oh my god. I feel like I'm losing my mind.
Mark just got it.
Who knows
Reality
if
is
we
slipping
can
away.
ever control this machine?
Yes,
What
Mark,
if,
yes, it is.
eventually, the Ark starts randomly killing everyone around? Perhaps that was the outcome of destroying the ancient Ark starts. Who knows if we can forever control this machine? What if, eventually, the Ark starts randomly killing everyone?
so
What?
so message of hope.
It's a valid question.
If we find it, we should definitely plug it into Giza because it's going to solve problems A through Z for us, or it could just randomly kill everyone.
Well, according to the documentary that is Raiders of the Lost Ark, it only kills Nazis.
It
So
only
we should
kills
bring
Nazis.
it. We need to bring it. We need to bring it to Florida.
Yep. Oh no!
Oh god, he lost tap again.
I know. I was like, no, not again. We're almost done. We're almost
Bring back.
done.
There it is.
It was just a brownout.
Perhaps that was the outcome described in ancient writings. Having studied the Bible and many related texts, translators and literary critics have concluded that once the Ark of the Covenant is found, it'll be the last signal of the impending end of the world. This nightmare scenario is quite likely if people decide to turn it into a weapon. So, is it a good idea to keep searching for the Ark of the Covenant? Share your thoughts in the comments.
Okay, so
Whoa! That was a trip, everybody!
so where do you find this junk, and how does that channel have that many subscribers?
What do you mean, how does that channel have that many subscribers? Did you not watch it? That was riveting. Every second was riveting.
Is it
Wait, how many people again? Like, remind the world how many people.
5.38 million.
That's subscribers. That video's been up for 5 days and only has 70,000 views and 2,000.
That's true. That's actually true. That's actually a terrible amount of views. You're right. That's like really remarkably horrible.
Yeah.
For that many subs.
So that's a weird ratio.
Yeah, and we're doing a takedown video of how bad it is, and we're gonna get like 50 views. Oh my god. Yeah.
Is that all bots? Is Riddle just a bot YouTube channel? Because
I've heard of them before. I've seen their stuff before. And
you know what? That whole script sounded like something like ChatGPT would come up with.
It could be.
Like to say, possible. hey, ChatGPT, take these elements, take the Old Testament, Ark of the Covenant, Nikola Tesla, pyramids, write me a stupid B movie with it, and that was the script basically that came out of it.
Yeah. Can you help me come up with an ancient alien style documentary about the Ark of the Covenant plugging into Giza?
Yeah.
Weird. It also reminded me a little bit of an SNL digital short that was done, and it was on sloths, the Staten Island high school kids that did their video for sloths. If you've never seen that, you should check that out.
That sounds amazing.
Spooky.
Well, I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch that sloth video on 1/2 speed. Also.
All right. No, I had a lot of fun. I hope you guys had a lot of fun with us.
That was quite a lot of fun. Yes. Thank you for having me. That was great.
I was trying to find something that I thought you guys would enjoy, I guess. But all right, Eric, who are you? Where are you? And do you have anything coming up this month, this week, this year?
I have forgotten who I am after watching that video. My brain is mush.
You're welcome. It's anyone's guess where we stand in this crazy universe of ours.
Yeah. Well, my whole concept and perception of reality has been thrown into question. Hi, I'm Eric from Skeptics and Scoundrels. I have a YouTube video or channel with some stuff on it. That's accurate too. I have a YouTube video. Anyway, I'm hopefully coming out with some new stuff here pretty soon once the summer dies down. And but right now I'm just kind of playing it easy and just hopping on other streams and stuff like that. So I'm taking the lazy approach to it right now. But anyway, thanks for having me, Maya. I really appreciate it.
Well, the universe misses you, and you have a lot of fans in the chat that are eagerly awaiting your return.
So. Alrighty.
And I actually have a question for you, Eric. After we go
off
go
ahead.
Air.
Sure.
What kind of camera do you use?
Oh, this is it's a Canon. I do have a special camera. So this is a Canon mirrorless R5 or R6, I think, and I have a 35 millimeter lens on it that gives me this really nice crisp foreground with a nice blurred bokeh effect in the background. So
are you running that through like a video capture card then?
I'm running through a Elgato HD 60S. It's a HDMI capture USB device. Yeah. Gotcha. So my main setup here is I have a tripod with the really expensive camera and lens mounted. I have a tripod. I have a teleprompter tray on the tripod with the screen inside of it. And when I'm doing a stream like this, I will mirror the stream to the teleprompter, which reflects off the mirror at me, so I can look at you and talk directly at you and that kind of stuff. So I put a lot of thought into it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you don't mind, that's exactly what I've been trying to get that set up, and I've been
Oh
asking
yeah,
a friend of mine was telling me his isn't quite right though, but he has his setup to do something very different. He's working with charts and stuff for his YouTube
yeah.
channel. But yeah, if I can
I
pick your
can
brain about that sometime, I would love to.
sure. Just email me, or I'm on Discord, Skeptics and Scoundrels. My email address is skepticsandscoundrels@gmail.com. So yeah, just feel free to reach out to me, and I'll send you pictures. I'll tell you what I'm using and all that.
Awesome.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, because I wasn't sure based on the video quality they had. I was wondering if you were using either a digital SLR or a mirrorless, or if you were using one of those new Elgato webcams, because those also
Yeah.
have that kind of effect. They're
Yeah,
pretty good.
I definitely, I definitely, I bought this camera like 3 years ago, so I think I definitely a little bit overboard with it, but that's fine because I use it for other things as well. But yeah, you can get like similar effects out of the Elgato and other kind of mid-range, like webcams.
Gotcha.
I did this one specifically because I wanted the bokeh effect in the background because I just like that look. So
Yeah. Yep. Okay.
cool.
Thank you.
All right, Jeff, who are you? Where are you? And what do you have coming up this week?
I do have another couple of days off. So tomorrow I'm probably going to cover a Dart Dawkins video that he did where he is talking with a guy that really gets him flustered, and he makes a lot of really weird, very elementary mistakes, which really, really made me laugh. I thought they're hilarious.
Wait,
So
who's he talking with?
he is talking with, I can't remember what the user's name is, but it's a conversation he's having on one of his Discord channels. And I don't know why this guy like stays like calm through his entire interaction. I think their conversation is
Oh,
about 15
that
minutes
must
long. This guy's
that must drive
complete.
him nuts.
He's just unflappable. He just does not. He has no concern at all about and he does a pretty good job. There's another one, a longer conversation that Darth has with a guy who's got like a PhD, going for his PhD in biology or something like that.
They give him to anybody nowadays.
So I just haven't gone to the right place to pick up mine, then I suppose. But yeah, that was.
Patriot University. I'll send you their email.
Ooh, thank you. Yeah, I could show it off to coworkers, and I'll be like, "Since when?" Yeah, no, I think I'm trying to catch up on those two, and then I am looking at trying to. There is some Pine Creek content that I want to cover. Sabine Hassenfelder, I think I'm saying her name right, dropped a video
Oh God! Did she another one?
about capitalism that is so.
Wow.
I haven't even watched it
Really?
yet.
Why?
It's like Capitalism is Good, I think is the title, and she basically just compares capitalism with trade and commerce and misses what capitalism is. So I'm probably going to do a coverage of that before I watch like other left wingers and get like, because I think Vosh has already dropped one on it. I imagine Majority Report will talk about it.
Wow.
Other left wing people are going to end up talking about this one. Leo told me about it yesterday, and I was like, yeah, started watching it, made it 3 minutes in, and stopped because I already had so
Did
many
she like
notes.
run out of physics news? Like, I
Yes,
don't.
apparently. If
Yeah.
I ever go that way, just come to
We
my
will
house
find you.
and cut off my internet. Just
We
cut it
will
off.
find you. You're not allowed.
And
No, I don't allow him to get out of hand. Like he
It's
fucking
not
knows
that
it.
hard to stay in your lane. It's just not. It's just not.
And then
Holy
I'm
fucking
thinking about
shit.
covering some other. There's some other right wing stuff that I kind of want to cover that I've been meaning to for a while and haven't gotten around to it. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, are we still doing our collab?
If you want to, yeah, I've got things that I'm sifting through from his various. He dropped a new one. I haven't watched it yet. I think he dropped it earlier today, and it looks like. Well, actually, he dropped two new ones. One yesterday, and I think one today, and both of them look like they might be pretty problematic. But I got to do some research on him to find out what he's referencing because he can be quite wily. So,
Quite. Yeah. Pine Creek's pretty problematic. Hashtag fuck that guy. You know, the obligatory.
Jesus.
God.
So yeah, Jeff contacted me. He was like, "We should do like I want to do a takedown of like Nate Brody and Pine Creek," and I'm like, "That's like my dream." Like, I don't know. Like, if I like, I'm a director, right? So there's not enough time in the day for me to do everything I want to do on the internet. But like, if I was just like a YouTube creator, it would be like I don't know, like fucking Pine Creek Monday, PragerU Tuesday, Nate Brody Wednesday, like, Fox News Coon of the Week Friday. I no, yeah, like I have this whole lineup, and it's not like Nate's not in it. And I used to like Nate, but he's taken this kind of
I
like alt right turn lately
he
that's really been pissing me off.
Yeah, that's the trick.
And
Like I still do like Nate, but like if
I
he's
don't.
if he's gonna peddle like blatantly bad narratives, like his some of his latest takes on everything from immigration to trans stuff to like I was like,
he,
dude, what the like? I get it if you have a different
he's
opinion,
drinking
but
the Kool-Aid. He's drinking the
Right,
Kool-Aid.
exactly.
Like
Yeah,
yeah,
like
this.
it's happening in real time.
and
Hmm.
it seems like Sabine is kind of doing the same thing, where it's sort of like she's probably hooked up with a producer who's like, "Hey, you know what? If you want to keep this monetization going, the algorithm is really, really generous to
Yeah.
people who lean right on these social issues. So
Hmm.
touch that hot rail and watch the watch the clicks happen and the engagement tick up." And it's like, okay, fine, but I don't know that I want to hear a right of center German physicist take on money, capitalism, and why it's good for me. Like that's just kind of fucked up. Like most of the stuff that Nate does is it involves directly like legal stuff and social, kind of social criticism. Those, I don't think he's ever really outside of his lane, but some of the stuff in terms of like the way he packages it, I don't
Hmm.
like because
Exactly.
he kind of does the same thing that he's accusing the others of doing. Like,
Yeah.
hey,
Right.
you didn't put this in the right context. You didn't explore the nuance. You didn't do a deep enough dive. And it's like you just generalized them for the first 5 minutes of this video, man. Like, so yeah. And he's laid off the Young Turks and moved on to David Pakman and the Majority Report, which I find interesting because now that the Young Turks isn't getting crapped on as much by right wingers
Right.
because of a
Well,
perceived
yeah.
shift right from Anna Kasparian,
Right.
then now he's going after other left wing prey. Like,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
yeah, it's funny, and the Pine
It
Creek stuff is
is.
just, I mean, any of
Yeah,
his
but
trans stuff is horrible. So
sorry. Yeah, no, I'd want to do like actual like what do you call it, scripted content for that because it's not. I don't know. Like trying to like dig into my brain on all the stuff I know for how bad they are is hard. Like I want to actually come out with facts. Like this is why they're wrong because I don't want it to be like Doug. And you've talked to Doug a number of times, Jeff, right?
yeah, somebody asked me if I like laid those out. I don't usually have. I mean, I will with Nate's. I will because Nate will usually like his stuff is edited, and he's
Hmm.
usually got enough clips and stuff where it's like, okay, if he's got claims and he's got sources, I'm going to look into them and try to put them into context. Like kind of the one he did where he was like boosting for Vivek Ramaswamy. It was the weirdest video. He was doing
Yeah.
commentary of David Pakman doing commentary of Sean Hannity's video of Vivek Ramaswamy, and by the time it's done, it's like, okay, Nate, what you did was precisely what Ramaswamy and his campaign want YouTubers like you to do, which is to go to bat for Vivek Ramaswamy for being attacked by people on the right and the left. This is precisely the kind of engagement he and his campaign want online, and Nate just kind of like provides that with this while trying to be an independent and a centrist, and it's like, no, you kind of took the bait. So
Yeah, yeah. And I don't. It's so weird. Like having I'm gonna say known, like quote unquote known, or at least like listened to Nate through Dragnot's channel for like years before he even started with his own content, and then like just seeing this like really sharp change like 2-ish years ago, 2-3 years ago. Um, I don't even know what to think. It's just like, is he really just trying to grow his channel, or does he really think that? Because like it's like you said, he started this shift after he hooked up with a number of larger YouTube lawyers, and now all of a sudden we have this fascist ish side chat that I don't even feel comfortable in anymore. It's just I don't know, it's weird, but yeah, there are you were saying that you wanted to talk about like CRT and I think systemic racism, which for whatever reason people don't think is a thing, and I'm like, oh no, that is like totally what I do here. So non Sundays. So I don't know, I if we if you're still up for it, I'm still up for it because, like, yeah.
Yeah, I'll let.
Especially with Doug. And it's so funny because Doug was on, and I know a lot of people saw him on Nathan's channel. It was at Gnostic Informant a few days ago. And he was in the chat like, oh, Maya looks like the type of person that wouldn't jump into the chat. And I'm like, ha!
What?
Oh, that is hilarious. And it was so
That's
funny because I had to, like, I was just about to go do rounds. I had to, like, present, like, we had a new policy coming out. So I had to go to the floors. And, like, just as he's saying that, I'm just like, I can't get out of this.
That's probably the worst call out ever. Maybe he was being maybe he knew and he was being a little
Like, right,
facetious.
he knew. Like, seriously, I was just about to jump off to go into like that. I'm the HRD, and like I have to go to the floors to talk about this new policy and answer questions and do all this stuff. Like, I'm the girl for that. Like, I'm the only person. And he's just like, Maya's the kind of person that doesn't call people out, and I'm like, holy fucking shit.
That's when you quote Doc Holliday from Tombstone.
I almost renamed my channel that. Like, I'm losing my fucking mind right now.
Wait, did this happen? This happened while you were at work too? So you
Yeah,
just like
Friday.
that's what she when she said that
God.
she had to go to do round like at her job where she is paid to do professional stuff. She's the HR director, and she had to go do stuff, and this motherfucker decided to choose right then to just say the most idiotic nonsense.
Is there anybody who knows me?
That's the worst thing. Like you had to pick between the hours of 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. to be wrong on the internet just to get my dopamine picked up.
I was almost like, I'm sick. I have to run home and stream. Oh my God, no, that pissed me off so much. But yeah, no, I chose money over Doug, as is right. But like that really pissed me off. And now I'm like, Jeff, where are you? We must do this.
Wait, what? When was that on? Whose channel were you on when that happened?
No, I was just like, because I listen to streams like while I'm working, and I was listening to Gnostic Informant, and it was just like totally normal.
Digital Gnosis, right?
Oh,
Nathan's channel?
shit. Yeah, it was Digital Gnosis. I am so sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, Nathan, Digital Gnosis. Thank you. And yeah, then all of a sudden Doug fucking pops into the chat, and I'm like, and everybody's trying to call Nathan out. They're like, dude, like, you gotta, like, what are you doing? Because I think they thought he was being too soft on him. But like, he's from across the pond. He doesn't fucking know, you know. And Doug's doing all this, like, you know, his bullshit. Like, well, show me the studies, and how do you know, and why do you trust scientists? And I'm like,
He claims to. He wanted to get me on his show so fucking bad.
you're not allowed.
I know. Okay, I know. I don't want to.
Pine Creek wanted you on a show?
Yeah.
Well, he wants to talk to him about science because he respects him. I'm assuming it's the penis.
He would say the PhD, but it's the penis.
The P in PhD stands for penis.
Yeah. That's
he's
my
just that white guy. Yeah, of course Steph respects him. You know, but like, you know, Stephanie, I mean, I know he likes Stephanie, but like, it's very clear if you've seen Doug on Stephanie's channel that he's just placating her.
It's a condescending sort of like.
Yeah.
You know? It's.
Yeah, I have noticed that.
Which is how he is with, to be fair, like literally everybody. He's a very condescending person.
He was with me until I told him his position was deranged, and then he begged me to stay. Like, look, I gotta go. I gotta run an errand. And yeah,
that's what I told him. He was like, you should come on my show, and I'm like, not when you're talking with this abject nonsense. Like, come on.
Well, I mean, like, and I love you. I do. I don't want the whole community to come at you with like pickaxes and torches, but you really have to hold Doug to the fire, because you're going to get into a stream with Doug, and he's going to stroke your shaft, and you're going to get totally like sidetracked talking about science and shit. And I'm really doing this to help you. because I saw how like Nathan was trying to hold him accountable, and the chat was just like, no, harder, and
Yeah.
like you're just gonna get totally derailed because you love science so much, and he's gonna want
I'm
to
I'm
talk
I'm
about
a,
that,
I'm really
and you're
agreeable.
gonna
I'm
completely
not I'm not the guy that you need to call bigots out necessarily
just
because I'm
saying.
too fucking agreeable and I've never
Yeah,
had to live that life.
yeah, and you're gonna totally forget that he's trying to kill all your friends, and I get that, and I
Yeah, it's
hold you. You just never had to deal with that, you know.
this is what I'm saying. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I get
yeah.
it.
So if you're in a stream with Doug and Steph's there, or I'm there, or Jeff's there, like yeah, you can totally stay. But you and Doug
I've
by
been in
yourself,
one stream
I
with
don't
Doug
think that's a
and y'all
recipe
were
for
there.
success. Because when people are talking about like platforming, there's a time when you want to bring somebody on, and then there are things that you have to do when they're there. You know,
Yeah.
that's all I'm saying. And I mean, anybody feel free to like correct me or, add nuance. If you disagree with me, but
I get the
I don't think we should take on the appearance of playing nice with bigots.
I get the feeling that this is getting close to the kind of drama that Eric wants to avoid should he come back to YouTube.
Ah.
I'm just getting the impression I just the look on his face like, I don't
Oh
want to
no,
get
it's
I
like,
don't want
why
to get
am I
involved in
here? Why
that.
am I here? No, Eric is totally out of this. It has nothing to do with it. Jeff and I were just talking about stuff that we have coming up, and I had to bring up Friday because it is just like sticking in my craw.
I'll have to go back and watch that one because I think I saw that one drop, but I was pretty busy on Friday until I went live, and um, yeah, I'll have to
But
check
yeah.
that one out. I don't always get notifications for Digital Gnosis's stuff because YouTube will send me recommendations based on the last two things that I watched and not based on the people that I'm subscribed to, which is fucked up.
Yeah, the algorithm or the notifications on YouTube have been getting really weird lately. A lot of people are saying that they're not getting their notifications again.
Yeah, I unsubscribed and subscribed to you, Maya, to see if it would
Aw,
change
thanks.
anything, but I don't know that it's going to. As far as I know, it was fine before. But you're not the only one that I'm
No,
subscribed
yeah.
to. That like if you only put out content once or twice a week, and I'm kind of watching a channel that puts out content for at least 4 or 5 times a week, it's going to send me those, and then it's going to send me anything that it thinks is related to those, which has been kind of weird because when that man the weird stuff tangential to that is like the manosphere stuff,
Hmm.
and if you get into anything where you're kind of in like talking about trans rights or anything, and any of the stuff that I engaged either between like Pine Creek stuff, watching some of the stuff that Nate, the lawyer, covered on it, and others. Now I'm getting all this. I think I'd mentioned this to you. Now I'm getting all this like kind of like the fresh and fit guys and stuff. These guys like they'll have OnlyFans girls on there and then just insult them for 45 minutes or whatever. I've never watched an entire episode of what they do, but they just sit there and berate them for making money
Hmm.
by being online, and I'm like, you guys are making money by being online. It's yeah, yeah. The algorithm's broken.
We all know how YouTube be. you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, Chester, I just want to say one thing. When have I ever taken on the appearance of getting along with the Bible or any other holy book? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. All right, so we're gonna jump out of here.
Well, so
I
that's not how
believe
you spell her
Nitty's got the
name.
after party. Am I right? Nitty starts in 1 minute, and
Right.
that is pinned in the chat. You guys want to say anything before we go?
See you later.
All right.
And it was
Bye,
nice meeting. It
everybody.
was nice meeting Eric and Ted
Yep.
Weasel again.
Yeah.
Good to see you guys.
All
And
right.
thanks, Maya, for having us on.